We lost him.
All right, everybody talk
Just
shit about
started.
him for a while.
Streaming live.
It's
Live on
over.
We
He's
lost
gone.
him. Time of death.
And now, Colby, I'm going to make you the host, and then I'm going to take off, okay?
Okay, thank you, Jack.
All right.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you,
We
Jack.
lost
Hi, Jack.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Dallas is the
I wish I liked this movie more.
It's when we do Kingpin, you can do that one.
I've never seen this movie, so this will be my first time.
Really?
You
I haven't
never
seen this
seen
movie in a
it?
very long
No,
time.
no.
So.
You
So-
failed so hard at life right now.
My shirt would disagree, but okay. Everybody get a load of this.
Oh yeah, I
Am I
forgot.
wrong?
Here's a photo of me and Katie dressed up. She kind of found like a blue one. We wore that to the Dumb and Dumber 2
Nice.
there, yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
King stuff there, dude.
Oh, and then here's a cake. That's a cake that she got me for like, what was it, like
Oh.
my birthday?
Kobe likes this movie.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think he's a fan. I
So
think
honored to be a part of this.
might be. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
All right. Well,
Shall we get this going?
I'm
Yes,
I'm
sir.
action lines, right?
Yeah, your action lines, and you're also like a couple of other random. Does anybody have any questions on like who they're gonna play?
What's my
No, I have the
motivation?
list in
Yeah, I
front
have
of
the
me.
fast list up, so I remember.
Okay, so for those of you that are playing like multiple roles, it's like in order of appearance, and some of them are just like
Mhm.
one scene and you're done, but some of them come back.
I literally wrote
Yeah, one of
a
them
piece
I'm
of
aware
paper
of.
with all of them on it just to make sure I kept up.
Nice.
Yeah, same.
You good, Augie? For the other two?
Yeah. I mean, what are the other ones? Or you
You
can just let me know when they come up.
Okay. You are action reader, elderly woman that, and then Helen Swanson.
Elderly woman and Ellen Swanson.
Helen.
Yeah.
Helen
my
Swanson.
mom? Or like,
Yeah, that's
don't
your.
call her that. She's my big sister. That's
Very
rude.
Gar.
That's Terry Garr, right? Yeah.
I'm gonna use a silly voice, so I hope it's
Oh,
not too
silly.
mother.
Get me started on what I'm gonna do.
I don't know. I'll find it in the scene.
I haven't seen this movie in years, so this should be interesting.
Yeah,
Pretty
and you've
sure
never
a
heard
lot
it read by Augie
but
Vanderveer.
Let's
right?
just go with it.
All right.
Geronimo,
We're ready
all
to
right.
begin?
Okay, let me start recording.
Oh, we're recording.
We're live on YouTube.
If you sell this, you owe me money.
Dude, we're live.
Oh, dude, what? I gotta send the link to my folks, dude.
We'll be able to watch it after this, like after it's over, right?
Yep.
It's gonna stay on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So nobody's
yeah.
saying
It's
curse
freaky. You have to like
words.
rewind it, but it
right
works.
now.
All right, so we're live right now. All right, let's just get started.
Oh, what's up, YouTube? All right, cool.
Augie?
Dumb and Dumber by Peter Farley, Bennett Yellin, and Bob Farley. Fade in. Exterior, Providence, Rhode Island, winter morning. A pretty young woman is standing on the street corner, waiting for a bus. She's carrying books and looking very collegiate. A black stretch limousine with darkened windows drives past, slams on its brakes, and backs up. The young woman stares at her reflection in the windows, wondering, what is this all about? Finally, the rear passenger window zips down, revealing Lloyd Christmas, age 30. He's a pleasant enough looking guy, if a little shaggy. He's wearing a dark suit.
Excuse me. Can you tell me how to get to the medical school? I'm supposed to be giving a lecture in about 20 minutes. And my driver's a bit lost.
Go straight ahead and make a left over the bridge.
Lloyd checks out her body.
I couldn't help noticing the accent. From Jersey?
Austria.
Austria. You're kidding. Well, good day, mate. What do you say we get together later and throw a few shrimp on the barbie?
Let's not.
The young woman turns her back to him and walks away.
Guess I won't be going down under tonight.
He sighs and zips the window back up. Interior limo. Lloyd climbs to the driver's partition into the front seat. Then he puts on a chauffeur's cap on his head and drives away. We see that he's the driver. The dispatch radio crackles to life.
Car 22, come in, car 22.
Lloyd grabs his CB mic.
This is 22.
22, where the hell are you, Lloyd? You're running late on the east side pickup.
Cool your jets, Arnie. I'm on my way.
Well, hurry it up. Make sure you park legally. One more ticket in your ass's history.
Cut to exterior. Mutt Cuts Dog Salon, day. This building is white with black spots on it, like a Dalmatian. Over the front door is an awning shaped like a dog's snout. whiskers included. A van pulls up outside. The vehicle is decorated like a giant poodle, with 4 legs hanging off the sides, a tail in the rear, and a dog snout on the front grille. Mutt Cuts is written on the side of it. Harry Dunn climbs out. He's in his early 30s and dressed in a ridiculous Beagle costume, including a cap with floppy ears. He goes to the rear of the van, opens it, and a swarm of dogs pile out.
Okay, gang, single file, you know the rules: no pushing, no humping, and no sniffing heinies.
The door to the shop opens and Harry's annoyed boss, Mr. Palmer, sticks his head out.
Hey, why aren't those mutts on leashes?
Same reason you're not on a leash, sir. Because it's demeaning and chafes like hell.
Just get them in here now. They all have to be bathed and clipped in an hour.
Palmer disappears back inside. Harry calls to the dogs, but they pay no attention. He struggles to keep them from wandering off. He grabs a couple of small pooches and sits them on a wall.
You kids stay right there.
As he turns to round up the others, we discover that the wall isn't a wall, it's a flatbed truck. The truck drives away, taking the 2 dogs with it.
Hey, wait a minute.
Harry chases after the vehicle. Cut to exterior East Side Estate Day. Lloyd Christmas pulls the limousine into a long tree-lined driveway. He gets out and looks up in awe at an impressive stone mansion. He whistles to himself, then walks to the front door and rings the bell. Ding dong. The double front doors of the mansion open and Mary Swanson appears. She's 25 and gorgeous. Lloyd's jaw drops open when he lays his eyes on her.
Hello. I'll be just a minute.
As Mary steps back inside, Lloyd takes out a tiny can of Binaca. Banaka. He sprays his mouth, under his arms, his hair, behind his ears. Cut to interior limo day. Lloyd is driving and Mary is in the back, looking out the window, lost in thought. She's got a briefcase resting on her lap, and she fingers the leather nervously. Lloyd keeps glancing at her in the rearview mirror, but for a moment, he is speechless. Then...
Why are you going to the airport? Flying somewhere?
How'd you guess?
Well, I saw your luggage, and when I noticed the airline ticket, I put 2 and 2 together. So where are you headed?
Aspen?
Oh, you're gonna love it. I hear California's beautiful this time of year.
Mary looks back out the window and Lloyd sneaks another glance.
Name's Christmas. Lloyd Christmas.
I'm Mary.
On Lloyd, we can almost see his mind work. He's desperate to impress her.
This isn't my real job, you know. It's only temporary.
Oh?
Yeah, you see, my friend Harry and I are saving up our money so we can open up our own pet store.
That's nice.
I got worms.
I beg your pardon?
That's what we're gonna call it. I got worms. We're gonna specialize in selling worm farms. You know, like ant farms. A lot of people don't realize that worms make much better pets than ants. They're quiet, affectionate, they don't bite, and they're super with the kids.
Aren't ants quiet too?
Lloyd realizes she has a point.
Well, sure, but they aren't half as affectionate. And if you cut an ant's head off, it won't grow back.
I see.
Best of all, worm farming is a $75,000 a year industry. I wouldn't mind having a piece of that pie, if you know what I mean.
To her credit, she doesn't. They continue driving. Mary looks at her watch and crosses her legs. Lloyd can see that she's concerned about something.
What's the matter? Little tense about the flight?
Something like that.
Lloyd swivels around and stares over his shoulder at her.
It's really nothing to worry about, Mary. Statistically, they say you're more likely to get killed on the way to the airport. You know, like in a head-on crash or flying off a cliff or getting trapped under a gas truck. That's the worst.
Lloyd, could you keep your eyes on the road, please?
Good thinking. There's a lot of bad drivers out there.
Lloyd turns back to the steering wheel. Exterior airport's day. Lloyd is putting the last bags on a cart. He closes the trunk and turns to Mary. She looks nervous and disconcerted as she reaches into her purse. She pulls out a $10 tip.
Here you go.
Keep it. It was my pleasure.
For the first time, Mary Swanson offers a slight smile. This makes her more lovely than ever.
Relax, Mary. Just get trashed and pass out. You'll be there before you know it.
Thanks, Lloyd. And good luck with your worms.
Then she picks up her briefcase and walks into the terminal, followed by a porter pushing her bags. Lloyd watches her, enchanted, until she's out of sight. Afterwards, he climbs back into the limo, lovesick. For a moment, he doesn't even have the energy to turn the key. He just drops his head against the steering wheel, devastated. There's a tap on the window. Lloyd looks up to see a police officer standing there.
Come on, move it. You're in a red zone.
Lloyd starts the limo. Lloyd starts the limo and pulls away. Cut to interior airport terminal day. Mary looks tense as she moves through the throngs of travelers. Her pace is slow, deliberate, and her eyes are focused straight ahead. She passes a row of phone booths and two men, one dressed in an Armani suit and the other in a plaid sport coat, watch her.
Gonna leave the briefcase at the foot of the escalator. You make the pickup.
Piece of cake.
Exterior airport terminal day. As Lloyd pulls his limo slowly away, he glances in the airport window and sees Mary walking along. When she stops at the foot of the escalator, he stops too. She puts down the briefcase and checks her coat pocket for a ticket. Lloyd's attention is distracted by a honk. He turns to see a car directly behind him.
Drive around me, you pinhead.
When he turns back to watch Mary in the terminal, he sees that she's gone and she's left her briefcase at the foot of the stairs. Lloyd jumps to attention. He pulls the car into a handicap spot and hops out. He starts to run into the terminal, then notices the police officer and suddenly goes into a spastic walk, limping and dragging dragging his leg behind him like a palsy victim. Interior airport terminal. The Armani man nods to the plaid sport coat and he starts to approach the briefcase. Just as plaid sport coat is reaching for the handle, Lloyd runs by and grabs it. He continues up the escalator 3 steps at a time. The two men look at each other, dumbstruck. Interior airport terminal boarding gate. Lloyd runs with the briefcase to the TV monitors that post the departure times. He looks frantically at the confusion of numbers.
Damn.
Quick cut of a dejected Lloyd looking out the window as he watches Mary's airplane taxiing away. Exterior airport terminal day. Lloyd comes out with the briefcase, passing the two men, who follow him at a distance. He starts walking down the sidewalk when suddenly he stops in his tracks. His POV, his limo is being towed away under the supervision of a police officer. He takes off after it, but to no avail.
You can't do this. I'll lose my job.
As Lloyd watches the limo get towed out of sight, he runs his fingers through his hair. Cut to exterior airport building, afternoon. We see the Mutt Cuts van pull up and park at the curb. A dejected Harry climbs out. At the same time, a taxi pulls up and drops off Lloyd. He's clutching Mary Swanson's briefcase. Both he and Larry climb the steps of the building. They disappear inside without acknowledging each other. On the other side of the street, a black Cadillac pulls up and parks. Inside are the Armani suit and the sport coat. They are J.P. Shea and Joseph Mentolino, a.k.a. Joe Mental.
Who the hell do you figure this guy's working for?
I don't know, but we'd better find out.
Mental takes some pills and starts chomping them.
You Elsa?
It ain't gonna kill me.
Interior apartment corridor. Lloyd and Harry trudge up the stairs and proceed silently toward the door of the apartment. Interior apartment living room. Lloyd and Harry enter and pass each other quietly as they both plunk down in their favorite easy chairs. Lloyd still has the briefcase in his lap. Harry's caged parakeet, Petey, tweets hello, but the two just sit there silently. The place is a mess, wallpaper's peeling off the walls, the carpet is threadbare and filthy. In the corner, we see a miniature worm farm and a large terrarium filled with dirt and worms. Here are a couple pieces of haggard furniture with stuffing spilling out of the gashes.
I got fired again.
Lloyd shakes his head.
I don't mean to be harsh, Harry, but let's face it. You are one pathetic loser. No offense.
None taken. Were you shit canned too?
Of course not. I quit.
Why'd you quit?
I had a hunch Arnie was gonna fire me.
Why didn't you wait and see if your suspicions were well founded?
Winners control their own destiny here.
Lloyd fetches a couple beers from the fridge and throws one to him.
You know, the thing that really chaps my ass is that I spent my life savings turning my van into a poodle. The alarm alone cost me $200.
Big deal. That car's an old bomb anyway.
What are you talking about? It's only 6 years old.
That's 42 in dog years.
They open their beers and drink simultaneously. Then Harry notices the briefcase.
What's with the briefcase?
It's a love memento.
Huh?
The most beautiful woman alive. Her name was Mary. Drove her to the airport. Sparks flew. Emotions ran high. Breasts heaved. She left this case in the terminal and flew to Aspen and out of my life. In a story.
What's in it?
You really expect me to go snooping around in someone else's private property?
Why not?
It's locked.
They take another sip of their beers. Suddenly, we hear a loud knock at the door. Petey the parakeet starts to squawk. The guys look at each other, alarmed. Then Harry tiptoes to the peephole. Harry's POV. A distorted-looking J.P. Shea and Joe Mental are standing at the door.
Friend or foe?
We don't have any friends.
Harry is still squinting out the peephole.
Can't recognize them. Could be student loan thugs again, or the IRS, or maybe somebody pissed off that case of Girl Scout cookies you bounced a check on.
Hey, I ordered Mystic Mint. The little swindlers gave me peanut butter praline.
Well, whoever they are, they look serious. One of them's even wearing plaid.
Still you.
Is it? I don't see. Lloyd? That's a hostile pattern?
Oh, sorry. My bad. I didn't see. That's a hostile pattern. I say we bail and get down to unemployment.
Lloyd grabs the briefcase and the two of them. Woo! Lloyd grabs the briefcase and the two of them exit out the window and down the fire escape. Cut to exterior unemployment office afternoon. The poodle van pulls up to the curb in front of the building and parks next to a fire hydrant. Lloyd and Harry climb out. Lloyd takes a trash can and places it over the hydrant, covering it completely. Interior Stanley Grabner's office, unemployment office afternoon. Stanley Grabner is small, plump, balding, not a lot of laughs.
Gentlemen, I'm delighted to say that neither I, nor the unemployment department, nor the Walt Disney Company in the state of Rhode Island can do anything for you. You've run out of chances. You're unemployable. Remember last year? Middle of winter, I busted my butt to get you both prime jobs. $12.50 an hour, and you went and blew it.
Blew it? For your information, we only missed 3 days and 2 months.
Yeah, and that was because of a blizzard.
You were snowplow operators.
Grabner falls back in his chair, exhausted.
Come on, Stan. I'm sure you can find something else for us. How about another crack at that suicide hotline?
Grabner jumps up.
Out!
Cut to interior Harry and Lloyd's apartment afternoon. J.P. Shea is looking through Harry and Lloyd's kitchen cupboard as Joe Mental comes out of the bedroom.
The briefcase ain't here. He must have taken it with him.
Shit. Well, he's got to come home sometime.
Joe Mental ominously approaches Petey the parakeet's cage.
Maybe we should leave a little message to let him know we're playing hardball.
Mental opens the cage door and wraps his meaty fist around the bird, who screeches in terror.
I thought I saw a putty cat.
Mental smiles, and as we pan to J.P. Shea, we hear a bone-chilling off-screen snap. And Petey the bird stops squawking. Dissolved 2, the Mutt Cuts van pulls up to the curb. A depressed Lloyd and Harry climb out and mope up to their apartment building entrance.
Give me what's left of our dough. I'll go to the corner and buy a few necessities.
Harry hands his friend some crumpled bills.
What's cheaper, Thunderbird or Night Train?
Get Robitussin. It's a better buzz.
Cut to exterior corner grocery store night. Lloyd comes out of the store with his arms full of groceries. He stops at a newspaper machine, pulls out his wallet, and removes a quarter. He drops the quarter in the machine, opens it, and realizes that he doesn't have a free hand to pick up the newspaper. He puts his wallet inside the machine, picks up the newspaper, and as he does so, the machine slams shut with his wallet still inside. Lloyd sighs, puts his grocery bags on the machine, and checks his pockets. No more change. Just then, an elderly woman struggles by using a walker.
Excuse me, little old lady? You have change for $1?
Change? No, I'm sorry, I don't.
Oh, could you do me a favor and guard this while I break $1? My wallet's locked in this machine.
Of course, young man.
You know, it's true what they say. Old people, although dangerous behind the wheel and slow still serve a purpose.
Lloyd runs back into the store. We hold on the store door as Lloyd exits a few seconds later with a handful of quarters. Suddenly, he stops in his tracks. The elderly lady, her walker, and his groceries are gone. As he takes a closer look, he sees that she has taken his wallet also. Cut to interior apartment building stairwell night. A thoroughly beleaguered Lloyd is trudging empty-handed up the steps to his apartment. Interior Lloyd and Harry's apartment. The door opens and Lloyd enters. Harry is sitting on the couch, looking almost comatose.
Where's the booze?
It's gone. I got robbed by a sweet old lady on a motorized cart. Didn't even see it coming.
Harry drops his head and lets out a moan.
Come on, man, cheer up. We've been down before. I'm sure we'll land on our heads somewhere.
It gets worse, Lloyd. My parakeet Petey, he's dead.
Lloyd looks touched by this.
Oh, man. I'm sorry. Harry, what happened?
His head fell off.
His head fell off?
Yeah, he was pretty old.
Lloyd puts his hand on Harry's shoulder compassionately.
I don't suppose he had a warranty?
Nah, I bought him used.
As Lloyd thinks about the unfairness of life, he grows upset.
That's it. I've had it with this dump. We have no food. We've got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off. We're surrounded by roving gangs of larcenous old ladies.
Okay, calm down.
No, I won't calm down.
Lloyd flops down in a chair.
What the hell are we doing here, Harry? We've got to get out of this town.
Yeah, and go where?
I'll tell you where. Someplace warm. A place where the beer flows like wine. Where beautiful women instinctively flock like the salmon of Capistrano. I'm talking about a little place called Aspen.
Aspen?
That's right, Aspen.
I don't know, Lloyd. The French are assholes.
Let me ask you something. You want to end up like Petey? Dead in some flea-ridden apartment, face down on a Dear Abby column with a soggy sunflower seed pressed against her beak? Or do you want to enjoy your life? Come on, Harry. Don't let Petey's death be in vain. Don't you see what he was saying? Spread your wings, man. Fly.
What are you talking about, Lloyd? His head fell off. Wait a second. I know what you're up to. You just want to go to Aspen so you can find that girl who lost her briefcase, and you need me to drive you there.
That's bullshit. I'll drive. And what's so wrong about going someplace where we know someone who can plug us into the social pipeline?
I don't know, Lloyd. I think we should stay here, hunt for jobs, and keep saving money for the worm store. I'm getting a little sick and tired of always running from creditors.
Lloyd moves to the window and looks out at the gray, wintry cityscape.
You know what I'm sick and tired of, Harry? I'm sick and tired of having to eke my way through life. I'm sick and tired of being a nobody. But most of all, sick and tired of having nobody.
There's a deadly silence as they both think about this. Then Harry tries to lighten the mood. He opens his arms wide.
Come on, Lloyd. Give us a kiss.
On the other hand, maybe you're right, Harry. Maybe we should stay here and try our luck in bankruptcy court. With all those lawsuits against us, I'm sure we'll win at least one. Could be a boost for our egos.
Harry sees that Lloyd has a point. He stands and approaches Petey's cage. His eyes fill with tears.
Petey, I made a promise to you once, man. And I'll be damned if I can remember what it was.
Cut to exterior highway day. The Mutt Cuts van is going down the highway while Danny Wilson's Mary's Prayer plays on the soundtrack. The van drives past and we hold on a sign that reads, "You are leaving Providence, Rhode Island. Come back soon." Various other aerial shots of the car traveling down the road while the song continues to play. Interior Mutt Cuts van day. Harry's behind the wheel and Lloyd's in the passenger seat. The Animals' "We've Got to Get Out of This Place" is blasting on the radio, and these guys are singing along.
Should have rehearsed. Gotta get out of this place. If it's the last thing we ever do. I don't know how the song goes.
We gotta get out of this place. Girl, there's a better life for me and you. Lloyd turns down the radio.
We're finally doing it though, are we, buddy? You realize that in all the years we've known each other, this is the first time we've done this together?
Been run out of town?
Taking a trip.
Harry reaches over and undoes his seatbelt. Lloyd watches, curious.
Why'd you do that?
What?
Take your seatbelt off.
Oh, because we just cleared the danger zone.
Huh?
Don't you know anything, Lloyd? 90% of all accidents happen within 5 miles of home. We've already traveled 6.3 miles.
Lloyd thinks about this. Then,
What about the people who live around here? What if we got into an accident with one of them?
Harry considers this, then sheepishly puts his seatbelt back on. Lloyd opens a bag of Doritos and fiddles with the radio.
Where'd you get those?
Bought them when we filled up.
Lloyd, I thought we agreed to confer on all expenditures. We're on a tight budget, remember?
This didn't come out of our travel fund. I was able to scrape up 25 extra bucks before we left. You know, so we could live in style.
Where'd you get 25 extra bucks?
I sold some stuff. Billy and 4C.
You mean the blind kid?
Yeah. Yeah,
Lloyd,
that's right.
Lloyd looks out the window guiltily.
What'd you sell him, Lloyd?
Some odds and ends.
Specifically?
A few baseball cards, soccer marbles, 3 comic books. Petey.
Wait a second. Are you telling me you sold my dead bird to a blind kid?
Who else was I gonna sell it to? I took care of it.
But Lloyd, Petey didn't even have a head.
Put your mind at ease, friend. I took care of it.
Cut to exterior apartment building day. At the bottom of the stairs leading up to the building is a little blind boy, Billy. He sits in a wheelchair playing with a parakeet whose head is scotch taped on. He throws the dead bird up, but it flops into his lap. Fly!
Fly.
Joe Mental and J.P. Shea approach and climb the steps. Cut to close on a note taped to Harry and Lloyd's apartment door. It reads, "To all our loved ones, packed up and drove to Aspen. Have a nice life, Lloyd and Harry." Pull back to reveal Joe Mental and J.P. Shea.
Those bastards rubbing it right in their faces.
Shit. Andre will have a goddamn aneurysm if we don't get that briefcase back.
Don't worry, we'll get it back. And I'll tell you something else. They ain't gonna reach Aspen either. I'll make sure of that.
Mental takes out more antacid pills and starts to chew on them. Exterior apartment building day. A pissed off Shea and Mental exit the building. Mental pops more antacid pills into his mouth as they descend the stairs. Little Billy is still tossing the lifeless parakeet into the air.
Come on, boy. Fly.
Plop. Then Billy hears Shea and Mental on the steps and calls out.
Excuse me, mister. Is there something wrong with my bird?
Mental picks up the bird, studies it, then angrily wings it down the street as hard as he can.
Don't worry, Ironside. He just flew south for the winter.
Hey. Cut to interior Mutt Cuts van afternoon. Harry is still driving while Lloyd studies a map spread out before him.
How far have we gone?
According to this map, about 1.5 inches.
Shit, we're gonna need a smaller map or we'll never get there. We don't have enough gas money.
Relax. We have more than enough.
I believe you're wrong, Lloyd.
And I believe I'm right, Harry.
I still say wrong, Lloyd.
How much you want to bet?
I don't bet.
Lloyd looks at his friend, incredulous.
What do you mean you don't bet?
I mean, I don't gamble. You know that. Never have and never will.
Reserved. Oh, bull. I'll bet you our next meal that I can get you gambling before the day's out.
There's no way, Lloyd. You can't do it.
I'll give you 3-to-1 odds. That's 3 feed bags if you win, against only 1 if you lose.
You're wasting your money, Lloyd. I already told you. I don't gamble.
Okay, 5-to-1. I can get you gambling before the day's out.
Sorry, pal. No way.
Make it 10-to-1.
Harry sticks out his hand.
You got yourself a bet, sucker.
As Harry shakes Lloyd's hand, Lloyd breaks into a big smile. Harry immediately realizes he's been had. Cut to exterior truck stop cafe afternoon. The Mutt Cut van is sandwiched between mountainous tractor trailer trucks. Interior truck stop cafe. Harry and Lloyd are sitting at a booth surrounded by tables of tough-looking truckers. Harry doesn't look happy. A middle-aged, no-nonsense waitress approaches their table with a couple of burgers and drinks. She puts them down in front of them and starts to walk away.
Excuse me, Flo.
The waitress reluctantly returns to the table.
What's the soup du jour?
It's the soup of the day.
Sounds tasty. I'll have a bowl.
Anything else before I leave the area?
Actually, this chocolate milk isn't mixed very well. Could you please bring me a spoon?
Waitress sighs and picks up the milk. Then she blows into the straw, mixing the drink.
There. Now you don't need one.
The guys watch her stomp away.
Feels good to mingle with these laid-back country folk, don't it, Harry?
Harry wipes off his straw with a napkin as he moves to put it in the ashtray. He accidentally knocks over the salt shaker.
Uh-oh.
What's the matter?
You spilt the salt. That's bad luck. We're driving across the country, and the last thing we need is bad luck. Quick, toss a handful of salt over your right shoulder.
What for?
Because that's good luck.
Harry shrugs, shakes some salt into his palm, and flings it over his shoulder. Suddenly, they hear a yelp.
What the fuck?
Or was it the left shoulder?
They turn and see a burly trucker whapping salt out of his eyes.
And who's the dead man that hit him with the salt shaker?
The huge trucker stands and squints at Lloyd and Harry. He's wearing a foam baseball cap that says, "Wine 'em, dine 'em, 69 'em."
It was a terrible accident, sir. Believe me, I would never do anything to offend a man of your size. Please accept my most sincere apology.
The trucker growls and approaches the table, egged on by his equally burly friends. Teach him a lesson, Seabass. Seabass glares
Teach
down.
him a lesson, Seabass.
Seabass glares down at Harry's hamburger.
You gonna eat that?
The thought had crossed my mind.
At this, Seabass leans over and drops a big brown wad of tobacco spit into his hamburger.
Still want it?
Harry stares at the burger non-committally.
No, you go ahead.
Seabass picks up the burger and walks back to his table to the laughter of his friends. Cut to exterior truck stop cafe afternoon. J.P. Shea is at the gas pump filling the black Cadillac while Joe Mental stretches his legs. A large truck pulls away, revealing the previously hidden Mutt Cuts van. Mental smiles at this, and we cut to interior truck stop cafe. The waitress drops the check on Lloyd and Harry's table and stomps away. Harry studies the bill and sighs.
Perfect. I'm out $8 and I still haven't eaten.
Well, if you'd stop picking fights with the locals. Wait a second. I think I just had an idea. Follow me.
Lloyd stands and walks over to Seabass and his pals. A nervous Harry trails after him.
Excuse me, gentlemen. I'd just like to apologize for that unpleasant scene a little earlier.
Huh?
What I'm trying to say is, my friend and I would like to buy you guys a round of beers just to bury the hatchet.
Harry stares at Lloyd like he's out of his mind, but the trucker seems to like the idea.
Make it 4 Boilermakers.
Whatever you want, sir. I'll have the waitress send them over. Oh, and fellas, hope to see you again down the road.
Lloyd and Harry move away from the table towards the cashier.
Lloyd, what are you doing? You know we can't afford to buy them drinks.
Lloyd hands the cashier their check.
Seabass and the fellows offered to pick up our check. They said to just add this to their tab.
Seabass said that.
Well, if that guy at the table over there is Seabass,
He points across the room to Seabass and Company. Seabass nods to the cashier and gestures to the table, not wanting to miss out on his free drink. The cashier is convinced.
Okie dokie, if that's what he wants.
Harry smiles at this. He grabs a couple beef jerkies, a candy bar, and a copy of the National Enquirer off the counter.
Oh, and put these on there too.
You got it.
by the way, how far is it to Rhode Island from here?
Cut to exterior truck stop cafe afternoon. The front door bursts open and a red-faced Seabass storms out, followed by his buddies, the cashier, and the waitress.
I'm gonna kill those sons of bitches.
Hurry and you'll catch them. They was on their way to Rhode Island.
The truckers jump in their rigs and rumble away in the opposite direction our boys are headed. Cut to exterior highway afternoon. The Mutt Cuts van breezes by. Interior Mutt Cuts van afternoon. A jubilant Harry's driving and chewing on a mouthful of beef jerky.
I just wish we could have seen Seabass's face when he got the bill.
I hope we never have to.
Don't worry, that fish head is probably halfway to Providence by now.
I hope so.
Harry checks his rearview mirror nervously.
Hey, stop the car. Gotta take a whiz.
Are you crazy? I'm not stopping now. What if they figure out we went the other way? They'll be on us in no time.
But I gotta go. What am I supposed to do?
Hold it.
I can't hold it. I'm about to explode.
Well, just take a whiz in an empty beer bottle. There's a couple on the floor in the back seat.
You serious?
Yes, I'm serious. I'm not stopping now. We could get killed.
Excuse me. Lloyd sighs. He takes an empty beer bottle from the back seat and unzips his fly. Suddenly we hear a peeing sound. Then...
Uh-oh.
What's the matter?
Bottle's almost full and I'm still going.
We'll stop going.
I can't stop once I started. You know that. Quick, get me another bottle.
Harry can barely hold the steering wheel as he reaches away in the back seat for an empty.
Jesus, be careful. You almost went off the road.
I'm sorry, Lloyd. I'm doing the best I can.
He hands Lloyd another empty, and Lloyd quickly makes the switch.
Here, hold this.
Before Harry knows it, he's holding the full bottle of urine. Exterior highway, late day, as the Mutt Cuts van travels down the highway. It passes a state trooper on a motorcycle hidden in the bushes. The trooper takes off after them. Interior Mutt Cuts van. Harry is doing his best to steer while now holding 5 full bottles, and Lloyd is still going at it in the passenger seat.
What are you, a goddamn camel?
Hey, I haven't gone all day.
Just then, they hear a loudspeaker.
Pull over.
They turn to see the police motorcycle cruising right beside them. Harry rolls down his window and calls out.
Huh?
Pull over.
Harry glances down at his sweater he's wearing, then back to the trooper.
No, it's a cardigan, but thanks for noticing.
He rolls his window back up and turns to an equally baffled Lloyd.
Jesus, what is this, the fashion police?
The cop turns on his siren.
Pull your car to the side of the road.
Cut to exterior highway, late day. The state trooper is walking up beside the stopped Mutt Cuts van, staring at it with disapproval.
License and registration, please.
Harry hands him the papers.
You know, you fellas were all over the road back there.
Yes, sir, we had a little difficulty in the car.
Uh-huh. Have you boys been doing a little drinking maybe? Sucking down on Grandpa's old cough medicine?
No, sir.
Oh, yeah? Then what's that?
He points to the open, full beer bottles hidden in the seat between them.
Oh, that's nothing, sir.
You know it's against the law to drive with an open alcohol container in this state?
But, Your Honor, he's telling the truth. It's not beer.
The officer smirks.
Is that right?
The trooper reaches in and picks up one of the bottles. He inspects the beer label and then moves the bottle to his lips.
Oh, sir, I wouldn't do that if I were you.
You'd keep your mouth shut if you knew it was good for you, buddy.
You would too.
Harry shoots Lloyd a look as the trooper begins gulping down the piss. He pauses uncertainly, and a sick look comes over his face. He takes a deep breath, then...
Get the hell out of here.
Cut to the Mutt Cuts van is pulled back onto the highway while the officer remains in the breakdown lane with his hands on his knees. Cut to exterior highway night. The van is making steady progress through the dark night. Interior Mutt Cuts van night. Lloyd is driving now while Harry sleeps in the passenger seat. The song Cut Flowers by the Smithereens starts to play as Lloyd fantasizes about his future in Aspen. Dissolve to Lloyd's fantasy. Lloyd is walking up the steps of a luxurious snow-covered chalet featuring Mary's briefcase. Carrying music. Anyway, the sky is absurdly blue and children are making a snowman on the lawn. It's all out of a dream world. He knocks on the door tentatively. Mary opens it. She looks at him, then at the briefcase, and breaks into the biggest, sweetest smile he's ever seen. Then she slowly backs into the house, gesturing for him to follow. Lloyd follows Mary down the hallway. As he trails after her, she pulls off her shirt, revealing her bare back, and glances over her shoulder at him. Camera moves around a corner, and now we're in a steamy bathroom. The shower is running, and we see the silhouette of 2 people behind the curtain.
Ooh, Mary.
How does that feel, Lloyd?
Tingly.
Interior shower. close on Lloyd. We see he's taking the Tegrin
Ice bucket challenge.
Ice Bucket Challenge with different shampoos on either side of his head and a noticeable part down the middle.
How's the other side?
Nothing at all.
Lloyd, wash my nipple.
Oh yeah. On Mary,
Oh.
her hair is slicked back and making her look better than ever as the camera pans down toward
Did
her
not
breasts.
see that coming.
We are surprised to not see breasts, but a set of headlights superimposed over her chest area. The headlights flash once, then twice on Lloyd. He blinks, confused at what's happening. Jump cut to an 18-wheeler is roaring right toward the Muttcuts van on the highway. Lloyd quickly veers back into his lane and avoids tragedy by a whisker. A shaken Lloyd lets out a sigh of relief. And we cut to exterior. Second honeymoon hotel night. The Muttcuts van is parked outside the seedy establishment. A neon sign blinks. Group discounts. Have your next affair here. Tasteful.
I don't know, Lloyd. I feel a little sleazy staying here and we're not even engaged.
Hey, it's the only motel that charges by the hour. We can't afford anything else.
Interior bathroom. Second honeymoon hotel. Lloyd and Harry are sitting in a large heart-shaped jacuzzi. Lloyd is sipping a beer, and Harry is absorbed in the Inquirer as the water swirls around them.
This sure is the life. Cold beer, a hot tub, a fuzzy pink sheets. You know, there's only one thing that could make this moment any better.
What's that?
I'm gonna do it. Go. You had a nice set of knockers,
That's two things, Lloyd.
and now I'd settle for one.
Lloyd takes a swig of beer. Harry puts down the paper and looks around at the romantic decor.
I don't know, Lloyd. These places just don't do it for me. Brings back so many memories.
What happened, Harry? Some little filly break your heart?
No, it was a girl. Freda Felcher. We stayed at a place like this once. The No-Tell Motel on Route 31.
Felcher? You mean the babe who worked for the tractor company?
Harry nods.
The same. We had this incredibly romantic time. Boy, I thought we'd be together forever. Then about a week later, right out of the blue, she sends me a John Deere letter.
That's cold here. Give you any reason?
I called her up and she gave me some crap about not listening to her enough or something like that. I wasn't really paying attention.
Harry reaches for a beer and busts it open. He takes a big gulp.
The thing that really hurts is I think she was seeing another guy. Never did find out who.
On Lloyd, he does his best to hide his guilt. Cut to exterior second honeymoon hotel night. We see that a black Cadillac is parked a few cars over from the Muttcuts van with J.P. Shea in the passenger seat. Pan over to a payphone. Inside is Joe Mental. Outside the booth, an anxious man impatiently paces back and forth as he waits for the phone.
Boys are holed up in a little love nest for the night. Yeah. I think they're a couple of fucking weirdos.
Interior, Nicholas Andre's study night. Nicholas Andre is pacing around the room with a cordless phone. Ooh. He's in his late 30s, wears a ponytail, and dresses in Aspen Rodeo Drive chic.
What in the hell are those guys up to? Is it possible that they're feds?
Intercut conversation.
Unlikely from what I've seen.
The anxious man taps on the phone booth and motions for Joe Mental to hang up.
I don't like this one goddamn bit, Mental. You and Shay were supposed to grab that back so we could end this shit. Now I don't know what the hell's going on.
Andre sighs and wipes some perspiration from his upper lip. The anxious man knocks on the booth again.
Hold on a second, Mr. Andre.
Mental puts the phone down and motions to the anxious man closer to the booth. The man moves forward a few inches. Mental motions him even closer. When he's about a foot away, Mental punches his hand through the glass of the booth and knocks the anxious man out cold. Then Mental picks up the phone again.
Sorry, boss. You were saying?
Look, Mental, just find out what they're up to. I want to know what these guys are, who they are.
Don't worry. I'm on it.
Mental hangs up the phone, looks around to make sure he's not being watched, then approaches the parked Muttcuts van. He's joined by J.P. Shea. As they get within 5 feet of the vehicle, we hear a low growl. They stop in their tracks and turn, expecting to see a dog, but there isn't one. They both take another step forward, and the growl gets louder and meaner. Again, Mental and Shay stop. They peek under the car. Nothing.
What the fuck?
Finally, Shay reaches for the door handle. As soon as he touches it, though, the car alarm goes off, but instead of a siren, it's an incredibly annoying sound of a poodle yapping. Mental jumps back and pulls his gun.
Where's the goddamn dog?
Shay shrugs, nervous. The yapping grows even louder now, forcing a flustered Shay and Mental to retreat from the scene. Dissolve to exterior Swanson Chalet Aspen night, establishing shot of a luxurious mountainside home. Interior living room Swanson Chalet. An agitated Mary Swanson, the young woman who lost her briefcase, is pacing back and forth in an impressive antique-filled living room. Seated on a couch are her father, Carl, and her much younger second wife, Helen. Not her much. Anyway.
This doesn't make any sense. I left the money exactly where they instructed me to.
Actually, it makes a great deal of sense, Mary. We should have called in the authorities the moment we knew Melvin had been kidnapped.
Now, Helen, we've been through this already.
Oh, for Christ's sake, Carl. These bastards will extort us into bankruptcy if we let them.
But I'd never forgive myself if something happened to Melvin.
Stop upsetting my daughter, Helen. She's been through quite enough already.
It's not her fault, Daddy. We're all a little on edge.
Just then, the living room door opens and a ponytailed Nicholas Andre enters. He looks appropriately solemn.
Has there been any word, Mr. Swanson?
Nothing yet, Nicholas.
Andre looks upset.
Perhaps I should call off the preservation benefit this weekend. It would be easy enough to reschedule.
No, Nicholas, it's imperative that we carry on as usual. The atmosphere in the room couldn't be more somber. Carl Swanson holds his hand out to his daughter.
Don't worry, sweetheart. I'll do everything they ask. Nothing's going to happen to Melvin, I promise you.
Thank you, Daddy.
Carl Swanson looks out the window, concerned. Cut to exterior highway day. The black Cadillac pulls over to the side of the road. Joe Mental gets out of the car and props the hood open. He takes out his gun, slides in a new clip, and puts it back in his pocket.
Lie down on the front seat. After they pick me up, I want you to follow us.
Then he folds his arms, and the two killers wait for the van to come along. Cut to interior Mutt Cut's van day. Lloyd taps Harry's shoulder.
You're it.
Harry taps Lloyd back.
You're it.
Lloyd immediately taps Harry.
You're it. Quitsies.
Anti-Quitsies, you're it. Quitsies, no anti-Quitsies, no startsies.
Lloyd shakes his head, defeated.
Damn, you're good, Harry. Hey, didn't I tell you this trip would be a blast?
Exterior highway day. Joe Mental squints down the road, sees the Mutt Cut's van approaching, and starts waving his hands to flag them down. Interior Mutt Cut's van, though through the windshield, we can see Mental waving. The guys don't slow down, though. They just wave back as they blow right by him. Harry also toots the horn, which makes the sound of a dog barking.
See, I told you these country folks were friendly, Harry.
Exterior highway day. As an angry Mental watches them disappear down the road, Shay sits up in the front seat.
What happened?
These fuckers are really pissing me off now.
Cut to exterior Mutt Cut's van later that day. We hear the zombies' time of the season as the van flashes by. Interior Mutt Cut's van day.
Refresh my memory on something, Lloyd. What exactly do we do when we get to Aspen?
Well, the first thing we do is take a good deep breath of that famous Aspenese air.
Fresh, huh?
The freshest. You see, on any day of the week, you can smell a moose fart 10 miles away.
Wow. Talk about paradise. And after we're finished breathing, what next, Lloyd?
Then we make a splash on the social scene.
Just then, Lloyd notices something up the road.
Harry, look, the Golden Arches. Pull over, I'm starving.
Cut to exterior McDonald's day. The Mutt Cut car is at the drive-through window.
That's 2 burgers, 2 fries, and 2 5.
Harry hands a $10 bill to the employee, who returns a handful of change.
Thanks.
Then, before he can give them the bag of food, the guys absent-mindedly drive off. As they pull out of the parking lot, the McDonald's employee sticks his head out the window and waves the bag of food at them.
Hey!
But the guys are already around the corner. Exterior highway day. The Mudcuts van is on the road again, cruising along. Interior Mudcuts van day.
About this social scene. How do you expect a couple of mutts like us to make a splash in a land of pedigrees when we don't even have any money?
Look, once we drop the briefcase off to Mary, she'll be so grateful she'll plug us right into the party circuit. After that, we do a little of the ski scene, hobnob with the elbow rubbers, and walk out of there in the spring with enough business connections to open a first-class worm operation. You see, you don't get rich working, Harry. You get rich knowing the rich.
Where'd you hear that?
Some bum down at unemployment.
Harry thinks about this.
I don't know, Lloyd.
What's the matter?
Money does terrible things to people. I mean, we could lose our friendship.
Lloyd thinks about this.
Yeah, so?
Harry nods and looks out the window. Suddenly, something dawns on Lloyd.
Hey, wait a second. Hold everything.
What?
Aren't you forgetting something?
Harry thinks about this.
Back at Mickey D's, a little matter you might have overlooked.
Harry racks his brain, but to no avail.
What?
Lloyd rolls his eyes.
My change.
As a sheepish Harry gives Lloyd his change, they notice something up ahead. Harry and Lloyd's POV. On the side of the road, Joe Mental is waving them down again. This time, the Cadillac is parked sideways across the road, blocking their path.
I think this guy's in trouble. Why don't you pull over?
Lloyd looks at Harry. Harry remembers that he's driving. He pulls the car to the side of the road. Mental approaches the passenger window.
You guys going as far as Des Moines? My car died and I'm late for a business meeting.
Cut to interior Mudcuts Van Day. They're back on the highway and Joe Mental is sitting between them, looking extremely annoyed. The guys are in the middle of an argument.
It's a fruit.
It's a vegetable.
I'm telling you, it's a fruit.
And I happen to know it's a vegetable.
Tell you what, why don't we let an impartial judge decide?
Fine with me.
Hey, Mr. Mentalino, settle our bet. Are jelly beans fruits or vegetables?
Mental grits his teeth as he pops a few antacid pills in his mouth. He reaches into his coat pocket and we see a glint of steel. Just then he's about to pull the gun out though. Lloyd hits the brakes and skids to a stop beside a bunch of hitchhiking migrant workers. Dissolved to interior Mudcuts van later, the trio have picked up 6 migrant workers and everyone is crammed into the car, including a crying baby who sits on a pissed off Mental's lap. Someone's playing a flamenco guitar and the gang is singing a Spanish song. Dissolved to interior Mudcuts van later still, the migrant family is gone now. Harry and Lloyd are playing a game while Mental stares straight ahead, furious. His eyes are watering and he looks ill.
Okay, Harry, my turn. Let her rip.
Harry lifts a chair and lets out a loud fart. Lloyd sniffs a few times, then closes his eyes and wafts it up into his nostrils, as if it were the aroma of a fine wine.
Full-bodied, delicate bouquet, aged to perfection.
I will rip no fart before it's time. Come on, Marquis of Dingleberry's rules. You got 10 seconds.
All right, I'll say. Cheese doodles, chili dog, extra onions, garden salad with blue,
and
Kit Kat bar.
Harry throws up his hands, defeated. He hands Lloyd a book.
You're the best man. Okay, my turn.
Where are your manners, Harry? We have a guest.
Harry punches Joe Mental's shoulder playfully.
Come on, Mr. Mentalino. Let one fly. It's only $1.
Dissolved to exterior Dante's Inferno Cafe, late afternoon. A large neon roadside beside the cafe shows a man's exasperated face with flames shooting from his nose, mouth, and ears. The sign advertises hottest chili peppers north of the border. Interior Dante's Inferno. Lloyd and Harry are sitting at a table with a hateful Joe Mental. The boys are each holding up a pointed red chili pepper.
I'll do one if you do.
Okay, you go first.
No, you go first.
You go first.
Why don't you both stop being a couple of pussies and go at the same time? It ain't that hot.
Lloyd and Harry exchange a look, then simultaneously bite into the peppers.
Not bad.
Yeah, more tingly than hot.
Suddenly, the boys' eyes light up. They let out a shriek. A smile begins to curl on Mental's lips. He pours them a couple glasses of water from a pitcher.
What's he done?
Have some water. It'll help.
Lloyd and Harry, who are both sweating profusely now, start to gulp down their water. This, of course, makes it burn more.
Oh, shucks. That's right. Water just makes it worse.
The boys run to the bar and dump pitchers of water on their heads, much to the delight of a chuckling Joe Mental. Cut to exterior Dante's Inferno day. Mental is on the phone outside the front door talking to Nicholas Andre. Intercut conversation. Also, I'm going to get a glass of water. I'll be right back.
It's Mental. I'm just sitting down to a nice meal with boys.
Good work. What did you find out so far?
Nothing yet, but shake him down at lunch. Then I'm going to kill him for dessert.
We'll eat fast. Time's running out. Whatever you do, don't let them get any closer. I don't need them here running around Aspen.
Remember we had...
Mental pulls the black vial of pills out of his jacket.
Relax. They ain't going to be running around anyway after I dump a little cyanide in their pops.
Interior Dante's Inferno day. Back at the table, the boys are soaked and huffing as if they just finished the Boston Marathon. The burgers have been served, but Lloyd and Harry are still too traumatized to touch them.
It really wasn't very polite of him, was it?
Thanks, as himself.
Maybe we should loosen the screws of his chair.
Harry Dunn, I'm surprised at you. Perhaps it's about time you brush up on a little tome that we God-fearing adults call the Bible. It's crammed with all kinds of pithy rules to live your life by.
You mean like turn the other cheek?
No, I mean like an eye for an eye. Hand me those peppers, the atomic ones.
Harry passes the jar, and the two of them load Joe Mental's burger with chili peppers, expertly camouflaging them with lettuce.
Here he comes.
Lloyd and Harry bite into their food as Joe Mental sits back down at the table.
Doing any better, boys?
As he pours ketchup on his burger, the guys glance at each other and titter. Could you guys titter, please? Then he picks it up and brings it to his mouth. But just before biting into it, he pauses.
Tell me, why are you fellas headed to Aspen? Vacation?
More like relocation.
Mental starts towards the burger again, but stops again.
Doesn't look like you packed much. All I saw was a couple of bags and that briefcase.
Briefcase isn't even ours. Some lady has left it at the airport. We're bringing it back to her.
This is news to Mental.
You mean you don't even know her?
Not really. I was just her limo driver.
Mental looks at the two of them and realizes that they're serious. Then he breaks out laughing.
Talk about being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Lloyd and Harry share a confused look. Mental shakes his head and bites into his burger, chewing heartily. Almost immediately, his happy demeanor is replaced by a look of horror. His face turns red. He grabs his stomach and falls to the ground, gasping. The boys look at each other guiltily, then bend down to help him.
You okay, man? It was just a goof.
I also quit filth in my gut.
Harry checks Mental's coat pocket for his antacid pills, but unwittingly brings out the black of cyanide pills. He shakes some pills out and hands them to Mental, who tosses them in his mouth and starts to munch them. For a moment, he appears to improve. His breathing slows, and he sits up. Then his eyes light up. Mental's POV, quick zoom in on the black bottle Harry is holding.
You son of a bitch.
Mental gurgles and keels over. Dead. Cut to interior Muttcut's van afternoon. Harry and Lloyd are back on the road, looking solemn.
I can't believe it.
Life's a fragile thing here. 1 minute you're chewing on a burger, the next minute you're dead meat.
But he blamed me. You heard him. Those were his last words.
Not if you count the gargling sound.
Harry lets out a groan.
Harry, relax, man. I'm just as responsible as you are. We both slipped in the peppers. And look at me. I don't feel guilty at all.
Small comfort coming from a man who sells dead birds to blind kids. You don't get it, Lloyd. I've got a dead guy pissed at me. His restless spirit will probably haunt me for the next 75 years.
That's ridiculous. You probably won't live to see 40.
Harry perks up, cheered up by his thought.
Oh, yeah. Wow, what a relief.
Exterior highway afternoon. As the Muttcuts van flashes by on its westward journey, we cut to exterior Dante's Inferno evening. A doctor is covering up the body of Joe Mental as he talks to Detective Dale. The detective is a no-nonsense type in his mid-40s with a military regulation crew cut.
My official conclusion is that the deceased expired from oxygen deprivation caused by the presence of cyanide in his bloodstream.
You mean he was poisoned?
Unquestionably. We found these by the body.
He holds up the container of cyanide pills. Detective Dale nods and approaches another cop in the BG.
Waitress says he was with a couple of younger guys. They're the ones who call the ambulance and they hit the road.
Any idea where they're going?
A witness at the next table thought he heard them saying they were driving to France.
Dale frowns at this and the cop shrugs.
We got a report they were seen heading west on I-80 toward Colorado.
Got a make on the vehicle?
The cop consults his notepad.
Yes, sir. They were driving an 84 Poodle.
Detective Dale does a double take.
An 84 what?
Well, it might have been a wire-haired terrier, detective. They're very similar in appearance.
The detective looks confused as we cut to interior Muttcuts van night. The boys are extremely exhausted as they plow through the black night towards Aspen.
Let's get off and crash at a motel before I crash into one.
Hey, crib fast. Sorry here. We're going to have to hold out. Seems we misjudged our expense allocation. If we pay for a motel, we won't have enough for gas.
What happened to the dough?
We over-leveraged.
On what?
I sprung for Mr. Chili Pepper's last meal. Felt it was the last we could do after we deep-sixed him.
Wait a second, one burger put us over budget?
The slot boarded a double bacon deluxe and a chocolate malt.
Oh. So what are we gonna do?
Drive. We've only got 10 more hours. We can take turns.
Cut to exterior Dante's Inferno, phone booth night. A frightened J.P. Shea is talking on the phone with Nicholas Andre.
You heard me. He's dead. The bastards killed him.
Interior Nicholas Andre's study night. Andre nervously lights a cigarette as he speaks.
Jesus Christ.
Andre's forehead begins to glisten with perspiration.
All right. I want you back here now. If they're coming this way, I'm going to need you.
How's our bankroll doing? Giving you a hard time?
Melvin's not the problem. It's these two other guys that have me worried. I wish I knew what the hell they wanted.
Andre hangs up the phone and then disappears down his basement stairs. Interior basement night. The room has a dirt floor. There's a stone well in the middle. We hear muffled human whimpering coming from deep within the well. Andre walks to the edge of the dark hole.
How are you doing today, Melvin?
What's the lotion in it?
Andre takes a hit of his cigarette and flicks it down the well. Cut to exterior highway night. What the fuck? Jesus.
On the movie.
Yeah, I
Are we
guess.
still reading the same movie?
Is it?
Oh.
I don't know.
I feel like we're
on the
suddenly
movie.
reading Silence of the Lambs.
I think Kobe wrote a great script and he's
I put this in there.
yeah.
What about that
Bit of a
kidnapping?
tone shift there,
So what do
Kobe.
you think of my college thesis?
It's beautiful. All right. Cut to
Notion on it.
Cut to exterior highway night. The Muttcuts van cruises down the lonely interstate. Interior Muttcuts van night. Lloyd is now fast asleep in the passenger seat as Harry drives on. A roadside reading Denver, 602 miles, whizzes by. Todd Rundgren's Too Far Gone begins to play while Harry peers at the empty highway introspectively. As the song plays, we see a series of quick shots. A new sign says Denver, 421 miles. Lloyd is still asleep with his feet now on Harry's lap. Another sign reads Denver, 201 miles. Harry stares straight ahead, practically catatonic. Lloyd's feet are now on the window and his head is on Harry's lap. The next roadside says Denver, 157 miles. Lloyd's feet are now up over the headrest and his head is down where his feet should be. Harry looks on the verge of blacking out. Finally, a sign reads Colorado State Line, 25 miles / food, gas, next exit. Exterior truck stop 2:10 in the morning. The Mutt Cuts van pulls up to a gas pump. In the background are several tractor trailer rigs and a cafe. Harry climbs out, thoroughly exhausted, walks around and opens the passenger door. Lloyd tumbles to the asphalt, still asleep. Harry nudges him with his foot.
Come on, wake up. You pay, I'll pump.
Lloyd comes to and grudgingly pulls himself to his feet. Exterior, Mutt Cuts van night. Harry moves to the back of the poodle van. He has to lift one of the car's rear legs to unscrew the gas pump. Then he sticks the nozzle in and starts to fill her up. Exterior, gas station men's room night. Lloyd comes around the corner dragging a bathroom key attached by a chain to a car engine toward the men's room. When he gets to the door, he struggles to lift the engine on its side, finally managing to slip the key into the lock. Exterior, Mutt Cuts van night. Harry is yawning as he pumps the gas. Suddenly, a Jeep Cherokee pulls up, and a long-legged, tan, athletic beauty climbs out. This seems to wake Harry up. The athletic beauty smiles at Harry as she grabs a pump and starts to fill her Jeep. Harry makes a feeble attempt to brush his hair into place, then clears his throat and nods to the skis on her roof rack.
Skis, huh?
That's right.
Great.
She continues to pump gas.
They yours?
Uh-huh.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Cool.
The gas from Harry's nozzle starts to overflow, but he doesn't notice. From her POV, it looks like a big dog is pissing on his leg. Nice.
Excuse me, you're spraying everywhere.
Harry turns to see the gas gushing all over his shoes. He immediately removes the nozzle and replaces it on the pump as she smiles to herself. Interior, gas station men's room. Lloyd is standing in a stall, urinating. He stands to read the graffiti scrawled on the wall. Finally, he comes to one that says, "For a good time, meet me here, November 8, 1993, 2:15 a.m. sharp." He frowns at this, then looks nervously at his watch. Close-up of dial. The date reads November
Why is it
8.
only one day a year? I'm sorry. I just have to know, why is it so specific?
Well, maybe if we read on, it'll explain.
Weird things happen at Motel 6s.
All right, this is Colby's script. Let's show it some respect. Zoom in on the minute hand as it clicks exactly 2:15. Just as a concerned look crosses Lloyd's face, we hear the bathroom door squeak open and slam shut. Terrified, Lloyd quickly locks the stall door, then crouches in the toilet bowl so his feet aren't visible. The sound of heavy footsteps approaches the stall and then stops. Lloyd looks down to see a pair of size 16 work boots beneath the door. We can barely hear a low growl. Then the stall handle jiggles. Lloyd holds his breath and the ominous boots move away. Lloyd lets out a sigh of relief. All of a sudden, the door is kicked in and a towering figure steps into frame. Lloyd looks up and gasps. His POV, it's the redneck trucker, Seabass.
What?
Well, if it ain't my old friend. And right on time.
As Seabass steps into the stall, we cut to exterior, Mutt Cuts van night. The athletic beauty is back on her Jeep now, and Harry has sidled, whatever, to the driver's side. He leans against her side view mirror.
That's a lot of luggage for a little vacation.
Actually, I'm moving to Aspen. I've got to get away from my boyfriend. He's such a klutz. My astrologer told me that I should avoid accident-prone guys.
Just then, the side view mirror Harry has been leaning on snaps off the car. He cracks his head against the windshield, falls to the ground, and then quickly leaps up to his feet as if nothing happened.
Here, this is a little loose.
She throws the mirror into the back seat and takes out a cigarette.
Allow me.
He pulls out a match and lights it with a debonair flourish. The athletic beauty nods her thanks. Harry tosses the match to the ground, and we hear an off-screen whoosh. Wisps of smoke rise around him, and we hear the low crackle of something burning. Neither of them notices this.
Look, maybe when I get to Aspen, we can meet up, or for hot chocolate or something.
She looks him over and smiles.
Why not? You seem pretty harmless. I'll give you my number. Just let me find a pen.
As she starts to rummage through her purse, Harry smells the smoke. He looks down and sees his right shoe is ablaze. He shakes it, then tries to put it out with the other shoe, but to no avail. Meanwhile, the athletic beauty is still searching for a pen.
I know I have one here somewhere.
Harry starts doing a soft shoe dance to extinguish the flame. This only helps to fan them.
Look, why don't you just tell it to me? I've got a good memory.
Are you sure you won't forget it?
Positive. Please hurry.
He begins hopping around violently.
Is something wrong?
Harry shakes his head no as he bites his lip to keep from screaming.
Okay, my number is 652-2553. Okay, wait a second. That's my old number. It's so funny how you remind...
Oh, for God's sake, just give me the damn number.
She's taken aback by this outburst.
Look, man, if you're going to get pushy, you can just forget it.
She throws the car into drive and
Let me
peels
stop you
away.
right there.
What?
Do you guys want to do like a little intermission?
I'm good.
Or go to the restroom? Anybody?
Sure, whatever you guys.
Colby,
yeah,
if you
whatever
need
wanna
to
do.
pee, we can take a
If
break.
you need to, let us know.
I'm good. If
I'm good.
I'll
guys
just
could-
talk to the fans on YouTube.
Do you need beer bottles?
yeah,
Go handle this commenter, doggy.
you guys just want to keep going.
Yeah.
I'm good. Keep
I'm
going.
good.
We're gonna stop the halfway point. All right, cool. As you were.
Blown right through. Interior gas station men's room. Seabass has his meaty paw wrapped around Lloyd's neck as he slides him up the wall of the toilet stall.
First, I'm gonna rape you. Then I'm gonna kill you. Any last requests?
Yeah. Could you do it the other way around?
Seabass pushes Lloyd to his knees. Then the trucker steps back and undoes his fly. The sound of the zipper brings a green color to Lloyd's face. On the men's room door, it bursts open and a flame-footed Harry rushes into the bathroom, panic-stricken. In his desperation, he plows through the stall door, knocking Seabass on the head, and thrusts his flaming foot into the toilet, extinguishing the fire.
The
Harry
writers of
reads
this won an Oscar. I just want
for this movie or for a different
for
movie?
Green Book.
For Green Book. Green Book.
And they wrote this.
That's so good. Amos and Andrew, that's another great one. And the guy wrote Foxcatcher. Anyway,
Oh my God.
deep sigh of relief. Only then does he notice Lloyd on his knees and Seabass unconscious on the floor with his pants undone. Harry has to do a double take for this to sink in. Then he lets out an admonishing whistle.
Got some serious explaining to do, young man.
Cut to interior Mutt Cuts Van Night. Close up of Harry's burnt shoe with the toes sticking out on the accelerator.
Look, Harry, I told you what happened. Now drop it.
Sure thing, Lloyd. I promise not to mention another word about you being in a bathroom stall with a 6'5" trucker with his pants down.
That's a low blow, man.
Not at that. Not at that height. It's not.
Listen, bud. If you're trying to imply that I
Hold that thought. Look, we're almost in Colorado.
Lloyd squints through the windshield. A sign up ahead reads, "Last exit in Nebraska, Colorado state line, 3 miles."
Think it's about time we pull over and change seats. I've been driving for 9 straight hours. I don't have the energy to start a new state.
Lloyd nods, and as he pulls off the exit, we cut to close on a sign. It reads, "Welcome to Colorado, home of the Rocky Mountains." Pan down to reveal a number of policemen stopping and checking cars as they cross the border. A helicopter lands on the side of the road, and Detective Dale hops out. He hurries to the cop in charge.
Any sign of them yet?
No, but we're expecting them shortly.
A motorist said he spotted
A motorist said he spotted a pooch about 30 miles back, headed this way.
That's weird. Detective Dale nods, satisfied. Cut to exterior Mini Mart night, establishing shot of a mini mart. Interior Mudcuts Van Night. The doors open and Lloyd gets in carrying a bag of Doritos and a soda. He settles into the driver's seat and pulls a beef jerky out of his back pocket.
Hey, I picked you up a beef jerky.
When he gets no response, he notices that Harry is already fast asleep in the passenger seat. Lloyd shakes his head.
Boy, some guys just weren't cut out for life on the road.
Exterior Mudcuts van night. Lloyd starts the engine and pulls out of the parking lot to the nearby freeway entrance. As he enters the on-ramp, we zoom in on a sign that says Route 80 East. He's unwittingly headed back in the direction they just came from. Dissolved to interior Mudcuts van sunny morning. It's bright daylight now. Harry is sleeping peacefully in the passenger seat while Lloyd sips a coffee. The van hits a bump, which causes Harry's eyes to flutter open.
Hey, Mr. Sleepyhead. Welcome back.
How long have I been out?
Say a good 5 hours, anyway.
Harry yawns and stretches.
It must be getting real close, huh?
Should be. I've been averaging about 90 miles an hour all night.
Good man.
Well, I'll tell you, this is one dangerous highway. You wouldn't believe all the road pizza. 2 dead dogs, a couple of rabbits, a snake, and some big thing I couldn't even recognize.
That's awful. Did you see them get hit or were they already lying there?
I hit them.
Harry rubs his eyes and looks at the passing flatlands.
Funny, I expected the Rocky Mountains to be a little rockier than this.
I was thinking the same thing. John Denver's full of shit, man.
They both stare out the window.
I must say, Des Moines sure is a pretty little town.
Yeah, it really is. Wait a minute, when did you visit Des Moines?
Last night, we drove through it.
What are you talking about? You were snoring like a baby when we went through Des Moines.
Lloyd shakes his head in amusement, then snaps his fingers in Harry's face.
Hello, anybody home? Rise and shine. You were the one who was asleep, numbskull. Here, take a sip of coffee. You're delirious.
A confused Harry sips the coffee and checks out the passing terrain. Then something starts to dawn on him, slowly.
Lloyd? Refresh my memory. Doesn't the sun rise in the east and set in the west?
In our country it does, yes.
Then perchance you can explain to me why the sun is in our face at 7:30 in the morning when we're heading west.
Lloyd thinks about this and then looks sickened. Cut to exterior truck stop morning. The Mudcuts van is parked next to a couple rigs and Harry is sitting beside it on the pavement, a broken man.
I'm only human, Harry. Anybody can make a mistake.
But Harry just sits there, practically catatonic.
Come on, man. Pull yourself together.
You know, I got half a mind to just jump on the bus to Europe and say goodbye to your ugly mug forever.
You can't take a bus to Europe, Dodo.
Oh, yeah, why not?
You don't have a passport.
Harry lets out a defeated sigh.
Come on. Stop being a baby about this. Okay, so we backtracked a tad.
A tad? Lloyd, you drove almost a sixth of the way across the country in the wrong direction. Now we don't have enough money to get to Aspen. We don't have enough money to get home. We don't have enough money to eat. We don't have enough money to sleep.
It doesn't do any good having you sit there on your butt whining about it. We're going to get out of this hole. We're just going to have to dig ourselves out.
Harry thinks about this.
You know, you're absolutely right, Lloyd.
He stands up, brushes off his pants, and starts to walk toward the highway.
Where are you going?
Home. I'm walking home.
You can't be serious.
Why not? We're probably only 5 miles away.
Harry starts resolutely toward the road while Lloyd watches.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Perfect! Like you never screwed up.
Harry suddenly stops in his tracks and turns back to his friend. He seems completely drained.
Look, man, I'm sorry. Never should have let you talk me into this in the first place. You've got a reason to go to Aspen. Your beautiful girl's waiting for you, but let's face it, Lloyd, there's nothing waiting for me in Aspen. There's nothing waiting for me anywhere.
Lloyd just stands there, speechless, as Harry turns and walks away. Out of frustration, he bangs the snout of the car, causing it to bark. Cut to exterior highway day. Harry is walking down the highway, his thumb stuck out unenthusiastically. A few cars whiz by, the cold wind whipping at his clothes. A station wagon blows by and it throws a bag of garbage out of the window. It lands at Harry's feet. Extreme close-up of Harry's face. A tear slowly rolls down his cheek, like the Indian in the commercial. Pan down to the bag of garbage. We see it's a bag of onions that's ripped open. Suddenly, a hearse pulls up and stops. It's an ominous-looking vehicle, and Harry hesitates. Then the passenger window rolls down, revealing a contrite Lloyd at the wheel.
Got room for one more if you still want to go to Aspen.
Harry looks the hearse over.
Where'd you find this baby?
Used car dealer. I traded the van for it. Plus, I got the guy to throw in $50 for gas money. Come on, man. What do you say? We still partners?
Harry smiles, and we cut to exterior State Line Day. An impatient Detective Dale is still stalked out at the Colorado border with several officers.
Doesn't make sense. They should have been here hours ago.
Maybe they're smarter than we thought.
How smart can they be? They're driving a goddamn dog.
Another cop rushes over his walkie-talkie, holding his walkie-talkie.
You just got a report that they were spotted about 2 hours ago heading east on Des Moines on I-80.
Des Moines? What? That's 500 miles from here.
Guess they got wind of our welcoming party.
We're wasting time. Let's mobilize.
Detective Dale heads for his cruiser while the other cops follow. As the officers climb into the cars, we cut to interior Hearst Day. Lloyd is driving and Harry has his feet out the window.
Tell me something, Harry. Would you really have kept going home if I hadn't come back to get you?
Let me put it this way, Lloyd. You remember when we were Cub Scouts and we got lost in the woods during that blizzard? We huddled together all night. We made an oath that if we ever got out of there alive, we'd never leave each other's side again. You remember that?
Lloyd thinks hard about this.
We were never Cub Scouts.
Exactly.
Just then, several cop cars whiz by them in the opposite direction with sirens blaring and the lights flashing. When Harry glances back at the cop cars, he notices there's a coffin in the rear of the vehicle.
What the hell is this? There's a coffin in the back.
Relax. It's empty.
I don't give a shit. I'm not driving anywhere with a casket. You know I'm superstitious.
Okay, calm down. We'll dump it off first chance we get.
Exterior Highway Day, Harry and Lloyd are swerving through traffic in the hearse. Ahead of them is a real funeral procession. The lead car is a Cadillac. Interior Cadillac lead car day. This is the car right behind the funeral hearse. A man and a woman are arguing.
I married a cheapskate.
Such a trap, Gertie.
I'm so embarrassed. I'll never be able to show my face again.
I knew something good would come out of this.
We could have given him a more dignified burial.
Your uncle was a cheap man. Remember what he got us for our 25th? A freaking fern. There's no way I'm going to spend a load to get him planted. Exterior Highway Day. While the couple argues on, Harry and Lloyd cut in front of them. The man and the woman didn't notice this as... They didn't notice this as soon. The entire funeral procession is unwittingly following the wrong hearse. Cut to exterior Piggly Wiggly supermarket day. Harry and Lloyd pull up to a large green dumpster behind the market. The procession comes to a halt behind them. The guys get out of the hearse and remove the coffin from the back, and then unceremoniously heave the coffin into the dumpster and wipe their hands off. On the lead car of the procession, the woman's jaw is practically on the floor.
You son of a bitch. I want a divorce.
Cut to quick montage of the hearse weaving its way through the scenic Rockies as we reprise Mary's Prayer by Danny Wilson. Dissolved to exterior Mountain Road Day, the hearse drives past a sign that says entering Aspen, Colorado. Cut to exterior downtown Aspen Day. The boys stroll down the sidewalk, looking in the windows, studying the passersby, taking in the sights and sounds of the skitown.
Isn't this wonderful? What more could a couple of single guys like us ask for?
How about food and shelter?
So materialistic. Why don't we get down to business and deliver the briefcase to Mary? Who knows? Maybe she'll invite us in for tea and a strumpet or two.
Jolly good idea, chap. And where does the lovely young lady reside?
Good question.
Harry throws Lloyd a concerned look, but then notices a phone booth next to them. How did I get that?
What's her last name? We'll look it up in the phone book.
You know, I don't believe I caught that either.
Harry's concern grows.
What about the briefcase, Lloyd? There must have been a name on it, right?
Slippy, Slappy, Sam Swinson, Swanson? Come to think of it, there it is. It's engraved right into the leather.
Well, what is it?
Samsonite. Spelt just like it sounds.
Harry starts flipping through the phone book, then abruptly he stops and puts the book down, a defeated look on his face. Cut to interior Hearst night. The car is parked in a parking lot across the street from a picturesque bridge. Harry and Lloyd are shivering in the front seat as a loud, icy wind whips through the hearse. They're each spooning something out of a coffee cup and sipping.
Any soup left?
A little. Shall we share it?
Please.
Lloyd opens a tiny ketchup packet and squirts half of it into Harry's cup and the other half into his. They pour a few drops of water in it and mix it with their spoon.
Mmm. Good.
Lloyd smiles bravely at Harry. Harry notices something and leans towards him.
Hey, you've got something stuck in your front teeth.
Lloyd picks a small speck out of his mouth and studies it.
Looks like an old piece of beef jerky.
Harry stares at it. Then,
Want to split it?
You're pathetic. Get your own.
Lloyd pulls the floss meat back in his mouth and chews it. Another gust of wind swirls around them.
I'm freezing my ass off, Lloyd.
Roll up your window.
It is rolled up.
Then I guess the damn anti-cold system isn't working. You really should get it fixed if we're gonna live here all winter.
What anti-cold system?
Lloyd points to the dash.
Right here. The AC button. I put it on full blast about an hour ago. If anything, the car's getting colder.
Harry stares at Lloyd and then throws down his cup. Disgusted, he opens the car door and starts to climb out.
What are you going out there for?
To warm up!
Exterior hearse night. Harry gets out and leans against the car with his arms crossed. Lloyd comes from the other side.
What are you worrying about now?
I'm worried about how you're going to survive the pummeling I'm about to give you.
Huh?
Suddenly, Harry lunges at Lloyd, who takes off around the other side of the car. Harry leaps across the hood, but Lloyd manages to evade his grasp.
Harry, calm down. You're acting like a wild animal. You got that crazy look in your eye.
Get over here and take your medicine, Lloyd.
Yeah. Sorry, Doc, I can't take medicine. I'm a Christian Scientist.
Lloyd continues to outrun him around the car. Frustrated, Harry opens the car and pulls the briefcase out.
What are you doing?
Something I should have done a long time ago. This stupid thing has been the root of our problems all along.
Harry starts walking toward the bridge spanning a river.
Don't do anything foolish, Harry.
Foolish? This is the most sensible thing I've done in years. I'm going to toss this goddamn curse right into that river.
Lloyd starts to follow after Harry.
You're making a big mistake, Harry. I'll never forgive you for this.
Harry keeps marching towards the bridge, determined to dispose of the briefcase.
Harry, hold up. Things are going to get better, I promise. In fact, I think I feel another piece of beef jerky in my left molar. It's yours, Harry. All yours.
Harry stops in his tracks, intrigued.
You're bluffing.
No, I'm not, man. Look.
Lloyd pulls his cheek back, revealing a molar. Harry squints at it.
That's a filling, you liar.
Just then, Lloyd makes a dash at Harry. Harry turns and runs, but Lloyd tackles him as they reach the bridge. The briefcase goes flying. The guys wrestle pitifully with one another in the snow, rolling over and over. Finally, Harry manages to get the upper hand. He climbs on top and clasps his hands around Lloyd's throat.
I used to have a life. A miserable one, but a life nonetheless.
Suddenly, Lloyd's eyes light up as he sees something off-screen behind his friends.
Harry, your hands are freezing. Harry, look.
Harry turns and his eyes light up too. He lets go of Lloyd as we see their POV. The briefcase is lying busted open on the ground, revealing stacks and stacks of big, beautiful $100 bills. Cut to exterior downtown Aspen. Harry and Lloyd are hurrying down the sidewalk, clutching the briefcase. The city is lit up with millions of tiny lights, like a fantasy winter wonderland.
Okay, here's the plan. We borrow a few bucks, just a small loan, from the briefcase, and we check into a cheap motel.
Sound good.
And we'll keep track of the money we spend with IOUs.
We'll be meticulous right down to the last penny.
That way, whatever we borrow, we can pay back.
Absolutely. We're good for it.
You know, as soon as we get jobs.
It'll come right out of our first paycheck.
Cut to interior elegant hotel suite night. A tuxedoed bell captain, Barnard, is showing the guys around an enormous and luxurious suite. The place is big enough to throw a touchdown bomb in.
This is the Hotel Dunbury, is a presidential suite, gentlemen. It's normally reserved for royalty, visiting dignitaries and illustrious stars of stage, and...
We'll take it!
The bell captain is a bit taken aback, but pleased.
Very good, sir. Are there any bags you'd like to send up?
Thanks, Bernard, but we'll find our own chicks.
Nice.
I wasn't talking about ladies.
Oh, then go ahead and send them up. What are their names?
Barnard size.
Sir, I meant your luggage.
Harry forces an embarrassed half smile.
Tell you what, you can send out, my friend. How about some chow?
The bell captain nods.
I'll bring you a menu.
Don't bother. Just order us one of everything.
At this, Harry serves Lloyd a reproachful look.
One of everything? Lloyd.
Lloyd looks guilty.
Oh, sorry. Make that 2 of everything.
Harry smiles at this as Lloyd pulls a wad of $100 bills out of his pocket. He rips one off and tucks it in Bernard's top pocket. And that's your line.
Yeah, and here you go, Barney. You keep us happy, we'll keep you happy.
The bell captain Barnard is energized by this tip.
Yes, sir.
He bows and leaves the room. Then Lloyd cracks open the briefcase and inserts a small piece of paper.
Our first IOU, signed and dated.
Cut to interior, Swanson Chalet night. Helen Swanson is knocking on her stepdaughter's bedroom door. She's holding a tray with a couple mugs on it. Mary, you awake?
Come in.
Interior, Mary's bedroom night. Mary is sitting in a chair looking sadly out the French windows when Helen enters. I brought you some tea. I thought it might help you relax. Mary smiles.
Thank you.
She takes a mug, sips, and pulls back.
Oh, what is this? Whiskey?
Sorry, that's mine. Helen grabs the mug from Mary and hands her the other one. Feeling any better, honey?
Just knowing that Melvin's out there being held by God knows who, it's all my fault. I should have been there.
Bullshit. You can't blame yourself for this. If you'd been there, they would have taken you too. Helen pulls out a joint and torches it up. She takes a hit.
Wow.
Maybe we should just pay them the money again and get this thing over with.
Now, Mary, everything that can be done is being done. You've got to stop torturing yourself.
What am I supposed to do? Go about my life as if everything's fine?
That's exactly what you should do. Get the hell out of here. Go skiing. Socialize. Don't you see, honey? We can't let anything's wrong. If the press or authorities get wind of this, the kidnappers might panic. Who knows what they do to poor Melvin then. As Mary thinks about this, we cut to exterior Hotel Danbury Day. The guys pull up the front of the hotel, and at first, several hotel employees rush to help them. Harry and Lloyd get out wearing overly trendy ski garb, complete with fur boots, NASA-designed goggles, and splashy fluorescent colors everywhere. The employees all grab the shopping bags and then line up as Lloyd tips them all handsomely. Interior bedroom presidential suite night. The huge beds are covered in boxes and bags of new goodies. Lloyd is going through it all. Harry is sitting out on the balcony with his feet up on the railing, checking out the mountain view.
Oh, God. It's really true. Last night I thought I might have been dreaming.
It's no dream here. We finally cracked the big time.
It was so simple. All it took was someone else's money.
Harry lights a cigar with a $20 bill, takes a hearty puff, and exhales.
You know, Lloyd, I think you might have gone a little overboard with spending today.
He blows on the 20 and tosses it off the balcony.
What's the big deal? We're going to pay it all back anyway, right?
Sure, but do you really think you needed to buy those 2 surfboards?
Surfboards? I thought those were beginner skis.
They suddenly make sense to Harry.
I was wondering why you had those bindings put on them.
Lloyd opens a box and holds up a scanty negligee. Ooh.
Where'd this come from?
Bought it.
What for?
I like the feel of it against my skin. I mean, you know, when a woman's wearing it.
Lloyd inspects it more closely.
Harry, how many women do you know who wear a size XXL?
Look, leave me alone. I'm rich now. I'm supposed to have a few eccentricities.
Nice. There's a knock on the door.
Enter, parlez-vous.
The bell captain, Barnard, enters with a champagne bucket and a newspaper under his arm.
I brought you your newspaper and some champagne, gentlemen. Unfortunately, we didn't seem to have the label you requested.
Lloyd examines the champagne's label and frowns.
All out of Boone's Farm, huh?
You have a rapier wit, sir. I took the liberty of bringing a comparable substitute. Dom Paragon. Paragon. Thanks.
Dom
It's a
Paragon.
lot to do, Slugger, eh?
Lloyd smiles and over-tips him.
Thank you very much, sir.
He puts the tray down, hands Lloyd the newspaper, and heads for the door.
Oh, one more thing. You can dispense with the sir crap. Let's face it, Barney. We're all from the same mold. We just have a little more dough than you right now.
Barnard smiles and exits. Harry comes back in the room. He picks up a champagne glass and flicks it with his finger, sending it a resonant ring.
Cocktail hour has commenced.
He starts to open the champagne bottle as Lloyd begins thumbing through the newspaper.
Hey, later on, what do you say
He
we...
notices the Lloyd's mouth has dropped open as at something he's found in the paper.
Lloyd, you okay?
Harry, it's her.
Who?
Mary with the briefcase. This is her.
He shoves the newspaper at Harry. Close on the headline, it reads, Swanson's to host Preservation Gala tonight. City's elite expected. Underneath this is a photograph of Mary with her parents.
Mary Swanson? Swanson.
Come on, Cinderella. It's time to get you ready for the ball.
Roy Orbison's Pretty Woman plays over a montage of Harry and Lloyd's glamour makeover. The boys are in a beauty parlor getting their hair shampooed. Harry and Lloyd sit beneath old-fashioned hair dryers. The attendants lift the dryers from the heads, revealing both guys' hairs in curlers. Lloyd's getting shaved by an attendant with a straight razor. Suddenly, Lloyd grabs his neck as if he's been nicked. Blood squirts out from between his fingers. The other customers stare in horrified. Lloyd laughs and then shows everyone a squeeze check of palate hidden in his hand. Oh, only Harry and Lloyd seem to find this joke amusing. We see them getting their nose hairs clipped. Hand down to the floor to reveal a pile of nose hair clippings. Then a shot of a man next to them getting a pedicure. Pan over to Lloyd's bare feet. He has toenails like Howard Hughes. Sparks are flying as an attendant wearing safety goggles tries to stand down Lloyd's toenails with an electric sander. Harry is lying on his stomach with his shirt off, getting a massage from a beautiful Oriental masseuse. More on that later. He pulls a $100 bill from his towel, hands it to her, and whispers in her ear. She smiles. All right. Next, we see the Oriental masseuse lying on her stomach with her shirt off, while Harry happily massages her back. The guys are in an expensive haberdashery. Harry comes out of the dressing room in an elegant black tuxedo. He couldn't look any more suave. The salesman nods, impressed, but Lloyd shakes his head, and Harry goes back in. Harry reappears in another stylish white tuxedo. The salesman looks on hopefully, but Lloyd again disapproves. This time, Harry comes out in a junior prom-like sky blue tuxedo, complete with tacky frills. The salesman looks sickened as Lloyd gives Harry the thumbs up. Pan across the street from the haberdashery, and the apprehensive J.P. Shea is sitting in a parked car watching Harry and Lloyd. Dissolve 2 exterior Aspen Preservation Society night. Throngs of guests in black tie and elegant gowns are entering the building. Suddenly, the hearse pulls up with Harry and Lloyd bumper surfing behind it. Harry's wearing his blue tuxedo. Lloyd's tux isn't any better. It's pumpkin orange. See reference photo below. They've got matching top hats and canes. When the hearse stops, the boys hand the driver, Bernard, a couple $100.
Thanks for the lip, Barney.
Interior Aspen Preservation Society. Nicholas Andre is greeting people at the door. However, when Harry and Lloyd enter, he stops them and gives them the once-over.
Excuse me, gentlemen, but this is a $500 a plate dinner.
Harry and Lloyd look at each other and then shrug. Then Lloyd takes out a wad of bills and peels off 10 hundreds, much to the amazement of Andre.
This should cover a couple plates.
I'm kind of hungry, Lloyd. What if we want seconds?
Lloyd thinks about this, then he peels off another thou.
Put us down for 4 plates, my good man.
They enter the parterre As Andre watches them go, his associate JP Shea comes up beside him, an alarmed look on his face.
Jesus Christ, boss, it's them.
Back on Harry and Lloyd, the guys make their way through the affluent crowd.
Getting a little nervous, Harry.
Relax, Lloyd. These people are just like you and me.
What are you talking about? They're educated, well-bred, charming, and sophisticated.
So what? We can be sophisticated. Holy shit, would you look at the fun bags on that hose hound?
Points out a busty blonde bombshell. Entering the party, Lloyd rolls his eyes.
Don't do this to me, Harry. I'm already a wreck. What if Mary doesn't like me?
Look, let's just go saddle up to the bar and down a couple of bowls of loudmouth soup. A little booze will bring out that old Lloyd Christmas overconfidence.
The guys stand out of the glittering social scene as they make their way to the bar.
2 martinis, straight up.
As Harry and Lloyd silently take in the party, a beautiful redhead, nice me, reaches between them for a cocktail napkin, then walks away.
Shut up, Harry.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, well, I know what you were going to say, and I'm telling you to shut up in advance.
How do you know what I was going to say?
I read you like a book.
Okay, if you read me like a book, then what was I going to say?
You were going to say, that's one fiery bush I wouldn't mind roasting my weenie in.
Harry raises his eyebrows, impressed.
And I would say shut up, because this is our chance to get in with the rich and powerful, and you don't ingratiate yourself to the kind of people by acting like Ron Jeremy on Spanish Fly.
Oh, God. The bartender delivers their martinis as we hear the off-screen clinking of a glass. The guys turn to see Nicholas Andre. Standing on a podium, next to him is a large cover display. On his other side are Carl and Elizabeth Swanson.
If I could have your attention, please.
The crowd quiets.
I'd like to thank you all for coming to this very special event. As you know, the Aspirin Preservation Society, founded and chiefly funded by our great benefactors, Carl and Helen Swanson, is the world's foremost defender of endangered species. Our sprawling grounds are home to 23 separate varieties of animals that are currently listed on the United Nations Charter of Protected Species. Tonight, we are deeply honored to have Mr. Carl Swanson welcome our 24th.
The crowd claps as Mr. Swanson takes Andre's place at the podium.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Icelandic snow owl.
He pulls the cover off, revealing 2 majestic, fluffy white owls in a cage. Everyone oohs and ahs. Ooh.
Ooh, ah.
Ooh, ah.
These magnificent specimens were rescued recently, culminating a 5-year, $2 million effort on our part. Oof. Together, they constitute 1/7 of the snow owl population left on the planet.
On Andre, he's nervously eyeing Harry and Lloyd. He looks pale.
Here, these lovely birds will be allowed to breed in a natural but protected habitat. And God willing, with your help and that of the societies, we will see these wonderful creatures flourish once more.
More applause.
Yay.
Way.
Again, thank you and enjoy your evening. Oh, and feel free to take a closer look at our new friends here. Enjoy.
The crowd applauds and begins to mingle again. Lloyd turns back to the bartender and holds up his empty glass.
2 more, please.
Harry stares at Lloyd with concern.
Lloyd, I've never seen you this uptight. You've got to chill out.
I can't help it. It's a very important night for me. Harry, have you ever wondered why you and I have never have long-term girlfriends?
What are you talking about? I went out with Freda Felcher for 2.5 weeks.
That was a fluke. The reason we never have long-term girlfriends is because of one thing. We're afraid of the C word.
That's crazy. We live for the C word.
I'm talking about commitment.
Oh.
Well, I'm ready for commitment, Harry. The first time I laid eyes on Mary Swanson, I knew she was the one. Some things you feel in your heart, other things you feel in your groin. This girl makes me feel it in all in the heart.
Suddenly, Lloyd notices something across the room. His point of view, a beguiling Mary Swanson is talking with a couple of guests. She's wearing a spectacular black cocktail dress. Lloyd quickly turns towards the bar.
Oh, shit. There she is.
Wow, you weren't kidding. Lloyd, she's an angel. Well, what are you waiting for? Get over there and talk to her.
She's gonna think I'm some kind of a psycho when she realizes how far I came just to see her.
You have her briefcase. She's going to be thrilled to see you.
And then what? She'll take it back and that'll be it. I'm a nobody.
Harry thinks about this for a moment.
Look, man, you just drove 2,000 miles to see this girl. Don't quit on the last 50 feet.
Wait a second. I have an idea. Why don't you go over and introduce yourself? That way you can build me up so when I come along, I won't have to brag about myself. Tell her I'm good looking and I'm rich and I have a rapist's wit.
I can't tell her you're good looking, Lloyd. She's got eyes.
Please, Harry, I'm appealing to you as one loser to another. Just build me up and then give me a signal to come over. Please.
All right. You're going to owe me a big one for this.
Harry straightens his polka dot bow tie, then approaches Mary, who is now standing alone, admiring the owls.
Nice set of hooters you got there.
Mary
Beg your
turns
pardon?
to Harry, stunned.
Yeah,
Figure-
they're beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Are you a bird lover?
Well, I used to have a parakeet, but my main area of expertise is canines. That's dogs to the layperson.
She smiles at this.
Thanks. I love dogs too. So how are you involved with them?
Oh, I've trained them, bathed them, clipped them. I've even bred them.
Really? Any unusual breeding?
No, mostly just doggy style. But one time we successfully mated a bulldog and a shih tzu.
Really? That's weird.
Yeah, we called it a bullshit. It's just a little breeder joke.
She seems strangely charmed by this.
Anyway, the real reason I came over is because I want to introduce you to a friend of mine.
Just then, Mary's stepmother approaches. She's holding a martini and looks a little sloshed.
Where'd Aki go?
I don't
I
know.
don't know. We lost our voice.
George or Clinton, do y'all want to read for Helen or something?
Yeah, Mary, I don't believe I've met your friend.
Actually, we haven't been introduced yet. I'm Mary Swanson, and this is my stepmother, Helen.
Harry Dunn, pleasure meeting you both.
I saw you come in earlier, Mr. Dunn. I was hoping we'd get a chance to meet.
You were?
Yes, that tuxedo. I love a man with a sense of humor. So does Mary.
Mary shoots Helen a look, then smiles at Harry.
Really?
For a moment, he's caught up in Mary's eyes, but he manages to snap out of it.
Anyway, about my friend.
There he is.
Hey,
August.
Hey, good. Do
Well-
your job.
Wi-Fi cut out. Sorry.
Sounds like I'm out.
I didn't mean nothing by it.
I was looking at
Peace.
you and your face was frozen. You were like,
All your faces were frozen and your faces were
It's
like,
the same thing.
I'm
Let it
beautiful
go.
no matter what I look. Anyway, what line did I leave you beautiful people on?
well, we actually just kept
We're
going.
down.
That's powerful. No, the show's got to go on for these you poop.
You needed a substitute.
So yeah, we are on page 78. After
Delightful.
that- anyway, about my friend, and then Helen says, "Are you doing?" any-
Got you. Oh, Helen's me. Man, I'm missing my lines. Dude. This is brutal.
Yeah, you got lines,
Which
bro.
Helen voice have you liked so far? I've given like 3.
I like the mix of all of
Like
them.
the high. and
Set it on random.
you can just be
It
smoking
is on Med.
from here, and then you make the voice deep.
Whenever she smokes, her
Voice
voice
just got
drops.
progressively deeper.
Yeah, because she started smoking. That coated her lungs.
You should
It's
do
all
that.
a science, dude. Voice acting, it's about layers,
Keep
like
that.
an onion. Anyway,
Whatever you do,
sorry.
just commit to it.
Is she smoking right now? I don't think she's smoking at
No,
this.
she's not smoking right now.
All right, whatever.
No, she is sloshed.
Oh, I'm sloshed. That's different. All right. Are you doing anything tomorrow, Miss Dunn? Because I believe Mary's looking for somebody to hit the slopes with.
Huh?
Helen, you're embarrassing me.
Well, are you? Aren't you? Poor girl doesn't get out enough. What do you say, Harry? Are you available? How about that? Harry thinks about this, then looks across the room at a hopeful Lloyd.
Oh, I don't know. You see, my friend.
Forget your friends for one day. You and Mary will have a ball. Mary's captivating eyes meet his, waiting for an answer.
Well, I don't know. You see, the thing is, sure.
On Lloyd, he waits impatiently at the bar as Harry returns.
How come you didn't how come you didn't call me over?
Relax, you're golden. I got you a date with her tomorrow.
Lloyd falls back against the bar and grabs his chest. He's speechless.
You're gonna be my best man here. I mean it. It was always between you and my future wife's brother, but you just earned a seat at the head table, pal.
Nice. Did I miss a line?
No, he's quoting from the movie.
Oh, okay. Oh,
No,
Cheater.
fuck, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, suddenly the corks shoot out of the champagne bottle. Is that fair? And zips across the room like a bullet, directly toward one of the now even wider-eyed owls. In quick succession, we hear a bawk, a squawk, and a thump. A hush falls over the entire party as everyone turns their stunned attention to the cave. Their POV, feathers are fluttering in the air throughout the cage, and one of the Icelandic snow owls lies on its back, its species now one bird closer to extinction. Harry and Lloyd look on in horror. Harry takes the smoking champagne bottle from Lloyd and places it on the bar.
I think we've done enough hobnobbing, Lloyd.
The guys lower their heads and slink out of the room before anyone can figure out what happened. Anyone except for Nicholas Andre. That is, we pan to show that he's been standing nearby watching their every move, and he doesn't look very happy. Interior Aspen apartment night. Nicholas Andre is pacing the room with a drink in his hand while JP Shea looks on nervously.
Maybe it was just a coincidence.
Don't be stupid. It's a message. Plain and simple. We killed their bird, now they killed ours.
But how could anybody off a bird with a cork?
These guys aren't just anybody. They're good. Look what they did to Mental. He was the best, yet he fell right into their web.
But the bastards already got the money. What the hell more could they want?
I don't know, god damn it.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
No, we lost
Interior
him.
bedroom.
Need his
Presidential
understudy.
suite. The next morning, a jubilant Lloyd is fixing his hair in the mirror. In the background, Harry is putting on his new ski clothes, including a pair of thermal tights.
Mrs. Christmas. Merry Christmas. Mrs. Merry Christmas. You know, it has kind of a ring to it, doesn't it, Hair?
It does.
Sounds nice, Lloyd. But don't you think you may be jumping the gun a little? I mean, who knows? When you get to know her, you may find out she's not your type.
Impossible. I know my type when I see it. And let me get this straight. She wants me to meet her at the Avalanche Bar and Grill on Main Street?
That's what she said. 10 o'clock sharp.
This is when Lloyd notices Harry's getup.
Time out. Where are you going dressed like that?
I thought while you were out making your love connection, I'd try my luck at the slopes.
You mean you're gonna go out in public dressed in tights?
These aren't tights, they're fashionable Eurotrash ski trousers.
But you can see the outline of your hoo-hoo.
Harry looks down at his crotch.
Really?
Turn sideways.
Harry turns his profile against the window.
Actually, it's just a tiny little lump. No one will ever notice.
You're right, I can't go out dressed like this.
Cut to exterior Aspen Base Lodge day. Establishing shot of the building. Interior Aspen Base Lodge. People are putting their boots on and their skis are lined up on the wall behind them. Mary is waiting by the fireplace in an incredibly sexy snowsuit. Suddenly, Harry appears in the room, dressed ridiculously, as he begins to clumsily make his way through the lodge towards Mary. And we see that he already has his skis on. He kicks over a row of skis and gets glares from all sides. Finally, he reaches her, out of breath.
We're on page 82, Augie.
I got you.
Back?
I'm back.
Sorry I'm late. It's a bitch driving a clutch with these things.
Exterior chairlift day. Harry and Mary, nice, are on the front of the lift line. The couple ahead of them get on a chair, and then they shuffle into position. Harry crouches nervously, waiting for the chair, and the chair swings around, comes up behind them, and makes a smooth pickup of Mary, that is. An embarrassed Harry is still in the crouching position, having missed the ride. Harry looks back at him, confused. Suddenly, he pretends to be stretching.
You take the first run alone. I'm gonna loosen up down here.
Interior Avalanche Bar and Grill Day. Lloyd enters the bar as the waiters are setting up for the day.
I'm sorry, we don't open until 11.
This is disconcerting news for Lloyd.
I'm meeting someone. Mind if I wait at the bar?
The waiter shrugs, and Lloyd sits down at the empty chair. Cut to exterior chairlift day. Harry and Mary are now sitting together on a chair as it rises higher and higher toward the imposing mountaintop. Harry holds onto the chair's frame nervously.
Beautiful day, huh, Harry?
Glorious.
Mary takes a deep breath.
God, it feels so good to get up here. I haven't been outdoors much in the last couple of weeks.
Why not?
There's been family problems. I don't want to bore you with them.
Thanks.
He looks mindlessly off in the distance. Then Harry notices a patch of frost on the chairlift bar.
Oh, look, frost.
He licks it, and his tongue immediately fuses with the frozen metal. He tugs a few times, but it won't budge.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I do this all the time.
Cut to exterior mountaintop day. As Mary and Harry arrive at the top of the lift, Mary disembarks, but Harry stays on.
Sit down.
Harry and the chairlift swing around and start heading down the hill. Cut to exterior bottom of mountain day. The chairlift comes back around with Harry still sitting on it, stuck to the bar. Two little kids climb up on him. Climb on with him.
Hey. Hey, kids, you didn't happen to have a couple warm water with you, would you?
The two kids just stare at him. Cut to interior Avalanche Bar and Grill. Afternoon. A despondent Lloyd got a couple of empties in front of him now. The bar is open and there are a few customers sprinkled about. Lloyd takes a sip of his drink and looks up at the clock on the wall. It's 12:30. We see a pair of beautiful legs slide onto the stool next to him, pan over to reveal it's the athletic beauty that Harry had tried to pick up at the truck stop.
Hi.
Lloyd grunts a hello.
Bad day, huh?
Lloyd grunts once more.
Well, don't worry. Mercury's supposed to be coming out in or retrograde tonight. Things will get better.
As Lloyd grunts again, we cut to exterior base lodge afternoon. Mary gracefully curves her way to the bottom of the hill and then stops with a snowspring flourish. She looks around the outdoor patio for Harry. She spots something and does a double take. Mary's POV. Harry is sitting at a table still attached to the chairlift, which has now been removed from the cable. He's drinking a cup of coffee and trying to act nonchalant despite the gawking of the other skiers. There's a mime performing in the background. Back to scene.
My God, Harry, are you okay?
I'm fine. It'll come off.
Close-up of Harry's head through a rifle scope. Reverse angle to reveal J.P. Shea a few hundred feet up the hill with a high-powered rifle trained on Harry.
Your luck just ran out, pal.
As his trigger finger twitches with anticipation, we go back to scene.
This is silly. Let me help you.
Mary gets up and stands behind Harry. He moans nervously. She grabs his head in both hands and starts pulling it away from the bar. We see Harry's tongue stretch ridiculously. 5 inches, 6, then 8. Harry groans in pain. Suddenly, his tongue comes undone, and Harry and Mary fall backwards out of the path of JP. Shea's bullet as it whizzes by. We hear the mime in the background cry out in pain. That's funny.
God damn it, what the fuck?
Poor mime holds his bleeding hand and retreats nervously into the lodge as the crowd boos him. That's a good joke. That's the best joke so far.
Why was that cut?
I know. I wish that would have been in there.
That was cut.
Oh, that's not in the movie?
No, not.
I mean, it's
Not the
super
mime.
cuttable because it's so just distracting from everything.
Yeah.
But that's my kind of humor.
Times it's not in it.
And
I think every joke should horribly distract from the plot.
The crowd booed him after he got shot. That's pretty great.
So fucking good. It's cruel. It's off the point. It's distracting. That's Augie.
Everybody
That's all you
hates mimes. Why did they miss the chance to shoot him?
All right, I'm writing down so many notes, guys. Thanks.
Yeah. To make this better for me.
Yeah.
Just remember to thank the little people when you're famous, Colby.
We're famous right now. We got 10 million subscribers on YouTube. Looking at
Yeah,
us.
that's 1.0. That's not a comma, that's a decimal.
Like and
Smiling Road,
subscribe.
$10 and more.
Like and subscribe. Cut to interior Avalanche Bar and Grill afternoon. Lloyd's now swimming in despair as the athletic beauty rambles on beside him.
Anyway, after my boyfriend backed into my garage for the third time, I said to myself, run, Kathy, run for your life before he kills you both. Then you know what the klutz does?
No, and to be perfectly honest, I really don't care.
Oof.
Look, I'm sorry, but I'm not very good company today.
I'll say. I have an idea. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Maybe some other time.
Lloyd motions for the bartender.
Bartender, excuse me, you wouldn't happen to know Mary Swanson, would you?
Sure, her family comes in here all the time.
Do you know where she lives?
Yeah, they got that big place up on Alpine Drive.
Cut to exterior Swanson Chalet late afternoon. The hearse pulls up to the house and stops. Interior hearse.
I've got to tell you, today was just what I needed. Thanks a lot, Harry.
My pleasure, Mary.
She beams and gives him a kiss on the cheek. Nice.
So you pick me up tonight at 7:45?
Better make it 7:45. I got a few things to take care of first.
Harry watches, love struck, as Mary gets out of the car and walks toward the house.
Mary Dunn. Mrs. Mary Dunn. Got a nice ring to it.
We pan from the hearse to some nearby bushes, where we see a shattered Lloyd watching all this in disbelief.
Some best man.
Dissolve 2, montage of Lloyd walking through the hills of Aspen, totally bummed out. Dissolve 2, interior bedroom presidential suite evening. Lloyd is sitting forlornly on the bed while Harry feigns surprise at what he's just heard.
It doesn't make any sense, Lloyd. She told me 10 o'clock sharp. Are you sure you went to the right bar?
Believe me, it was the right place. I don't know, Hare. Maybe she just had second thoughts.
I have a hard time believing that. Lloyd. The girl said she couldn't wait to see you again.
Harry paces back and forth when suddenly something occurs to him.
Wait a minute.
What?
It just occurred to me.
Nice.
She must have meant 10 o'clock at night.
Do you think?
Of course. Why would she have you meet her at the bar at 10 in the morning?
I just figured she was a raging alcoholic.
Harry barks out a laugh. Bark it out. At their stupidity.
Boy, are we a couple of beauties.
I knew there was an explanation, and here I thought she was standing me up.
That'll teach you to jump to conclusions. Anyway, since you have your night all planned, I think I'll run out and catch a flick.
As Harry walks into the closet to change, Lloyd clenches his fist and glares after him. Then he regains his composure and moves to the bar.
Will you join me in a good luck toast before you head out?
Sure thing, pal. Whatever you think will help your chances.
Lloyd bites his lip at this. He fills 2 mugs with coffee and throws a splash of Baileys in each. He checks to make sure Harry is still in the closet, then pulls out a big box of X-Lax. Nice. Lloyd dumps the entire pack into 1 mug and mixes it in. When Harry comes out of the closet dressed in a new suit and tie, Lloyd does a double take.
You snazzed out for a movie, aren't you?
Double take.
It's for mature audiences. I don't want a chance getting turned away at the door.
I see.
Lloyd hands him the mug with the X-Lax. Then he lifts his own glass.
To my friend Harry, the matchmaker.
Harry feels a pang of guilt, but drinks up anyway. Glug, glug. He gulps down the drink. Sippy, sippy. Cut to interior hearse night. Harry's driving away, whistling happily to himself in the anticipation of the night. Must be the rhythm. Suddenly, we hear a low, intense intestinal rumble. He reacts and rubs his stomach. Interior Swanson Chalet night. The hearse parks on the street and Harry gets out. He's walking up the steps to the house when we hear more gaseous thunder from his stomach. Harry stops in his tracks, gets his insides under control, and continues to the front porch where he rings the bell. Ding dong. Mary answers the door, fiddling with her earrings.
Hi, come on in.
Interior Swanson Chalet. Harry follows her inside.
Make yourself at home. I'm almost ready. Just give me 1 more minute.
As she disappears down a hallway, we hear Harry's upset stomach again. He notices a bathroom off the hallway and rushes inside. Interior, a bathroom. Hold on Harry's face as he quickly pulls his pants down and nestles onto the throne.
No.
Oh, we lost it.
Oh no.
Not
We
during
lost
the.
a good one.
It's the worst time to freeze.
Augie.
This is just prolonging Harry's misery.
So is he
We
like
all know
holding it
this one.
now?
By the way, Gaseous Thunder needs to be your new name.
That's my drag.
Gosh.
Gaseous Thunder.
It's your Tinder profile.
Hey, might as well try it. Hasn't been working yet. Anyway.
Sorry, guys. Where are we? Did Augie leave
All
again?
right, I think he
Oh,
needs
he
a
lost it.
understudy, John.
He lets out a sigh of relief as he does his business, then leans over and slides open the window to air the room out. He's still glued to the toilet when he hears a knock at the door.
Are you still in there, Harry?
Be right out.
I hope you're not using the toilet. It's broken.
Zoom in tight on Harry's face. His eyes go wide and a visible sweat breaks out on his forehead.
Huh?
It doesn't flush.
No, I was just shaving.
Exterior hallway. A confused Mary is standing outside the bathroom door.
Shaving?
Yeah, I was running a little late. Thought this would save time.
Okay, well, I'll be in the living room whenever you're ready.
Interior bathroom. Harry's got his pants back on and is lifting the lid off the toilet tank. He starts tinkering with a few valves.
Come on, flush, you bastard.
Exterior living room, Swanson Chalet, night. Mary's sitting patiently on the couch with her legs crossed. She looks at her watch, then flips on the TV. On the tube, the news is on. A woman reporter is addressing the camera gravely. We'll be back in a minute with the story of the blind Indiana boy who was duped into buying a dead parakeet. We see Billy, the blind boy from apartment 4C, sitting in his wheelchair, holding up Petey the parakeet in its head, scotch taped onto its body. These are all my parts.
Why
I
is
thought
he
he
from
was real
Indiana
quiet.
all of a sudden? Weren't they from Rhode Island? Colby, you need to edit this.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Your film's never going to get made if you don't edit it.
Right?
Feels like it was made over 20 years ago.
Oh, dude, don't hurt me like that.
The reporter shakes her head and they go to a commercial. Mary shivers at this and turns off the television. Suddenly, the doorbell rings. She gets up and opens the front door. Her POV, a dapper Lloyd is standing there in his new aspen chic clothes.
Yes?
Hi. Don't you remember me?
Not really.
Oh, Augie's back. There he is.
He's back, Huggy.
I'm gonna go yell at Spectrum or something. I don't know. I'm gonna say, get the CEO of Spectrum on the phone. I'm gonna yell at him.
Yell at him in the
reading.
Helen voice.
Which one?
The Scottish one.
The first one.
I liked the
Yeah,
drunk
your
one.
Shrek one. That works.
Yeah, Shrek was tight. All right, where are we at?
Shrek is love.
We're at the top of 91.
91. Great page. What? Lloyd is thrilled at this?
Yes.
Tight.
South Bend. I drove her to the airport last week.
Oh my God. Lloyd, right?
Lloyd is thrilled at this.
Remembered.
What are you doing in Aspen?
I brought you your briefcase. You left it at the airport, you big goof.
You're the one who took my briefcase?
Yeah, it's back in my hotel room. Come on, let's take a ride. I'll give it to you.
Mary is torn between getting her briefcase and waiting for Harry.
Wait right here.
She goes to the bathroom door. Inside, we hear the loud clanking of metal against metal.
Harry, what are you doing in there?
Interior bathroom. Harry's got the entire toilet completely disassembled now. Various pieces of the commode litter the floor, including the big plastic float ball. He's on his knees, tinkering with some
Technical
pipes.
term.
Yes, very technical. Tinkering with some pipes coming out of the wall.
Just cleaning my teeth. Give me a minute, Mary. I'll be right with you.
Sorry, but something important's come up and I have to run out. It's sort of an emergency. I'll explain later.
But Mary!
I'm really sorry, Harry. I promise. We'll do this another time.
Harry hears her footsteps echo down the hallway, and then the front door closing. Harry slumps against the sink, defeated.
Great.
Cut to interior Mary's Jaguar night. Lloyd is in the passenger seat wearing a subtle, satisfied smile. An anxious-looking Mary is at the wheel. Exterior Hotel Danbury night. The Jaguar pulls up in front of the hotel. As Lloyd and Mary get out, we pan over to reveal that they were being followed by Nicholas, Andre, and JP Shea in a Mercedes. Interior Andre's Mercedes. Andre pulls a pistol from beneath his seat and slips it into his coat.
They're mine.
Nice. Interior presidential suite. The door opens and Lloyd and Mary enter.
So anyway, as soon as I got to town, I tried to look you up, but I didn't know your last name.
He leads her to the closed briefcase, which is sitting on the bed.
I don't believe it. You really have it.
Of course I have it. When Lloyd Christmas drives a woman to the airport, he makes sure she gets all her luggage, no matter what he has to do.
Mary looks at Lloyd and smiles.
This is incredible. You mean to say you drove 2,000 miles just for me?
Well, no, I mean, there were other reasons. Actually, yeah, I guess I did.
She can't believe her ears.
That is the sweetest thing I've ever heard.
He drops his head and Mary leans over and kisses him on the cheek. Cut to interior Hearst night. A sullen Harry is driving back to the hotel.
It's all karma, Harry. You screw your best friend over and it's going to come back to haunt you, plain and simple.
Cut to interior presidential suite. Clothes on. Lloyd's face, he's starry-eyed in love as he spills his guts.
Look, Mary, I know this may seem a little sudden, but I've given it a lot of thought. You're the woman I've been waiting for my whole life, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. Please, let me finish. I'm crazy about you. I've never felt this way about anyone. Make it so easy for me to feel. You make it so easy for me to tell you my innermost desires. Listen to me. I feel like a schoolboy again. A schoolboy who desperately wants to make sweet, sweet love to you.
Oh, yeah. Suddenly, we hear a toilet flushing off screen. Reverse angle reveals that Lloyd has been talking to an empty chair. The bathroom door opens and Mary comes out. She looks around, expecting to see someone else.
Oh, I thought I heard you talking to someone.
Lloyd is flustered. He swallows hard. It's the moment of truth.
Mary, I desperately want to make love to a schoolboy.
Maybe I should be going now.
No, that's not what I meant. I mean, I really like you, Mary. I like you a lot.
Yeah.
She smiles at this.
I'm going to ask you something flat out, and I want you to answer me honestly. What do you think the chances are of a girl like you and a guy like me ending up together?
Mary is obviously thrown by this question.
Lloyd, that's difficult to say. I mean, we hardly.
I asked you to be honest, Mary.
But Lloyd, I really can't.
Come on. Give it to me straight. I drove a long way just to see you. The least you can do is level with me. What are my chances?
Not good.
You mean not good like 1 out of 100?
I'd say more like 1 out of 1,000,000.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Just then, there's a knock at the door. When Lloyd opens it, he's face to face with Nicholas Andre.
Nicholas, what are you doing here?
I've been looking for you, Mary. I got some interesting news about your husband.
Lloyd looks at Mary, devastated.
Husband?
Aren't you two going to invite me in?
Lloyd and Mary hear a click and turn to see Andres pointing a gun at them. Andre steps into the room, and we are cut to interior Hotel Danbury lobby night. As Harry mopes through the lobby, we hear someone call out.
Hey!
Nice. Harry turns to see the athletic beauty approaching.
You? What are you doing here?
Cut to interior presidential suite. Nicholas Andre has his gun pointed at a stunned Lloyd and Mary.
Well, at least you two got to say your goodbyes.
Who are you?
Don't play dumb with me, asshole.
Nice.
I'm the rightful owner of the briefcase you've been carrying.
Uh-oh.
Mary can't believe what's happening.
Nicholas, you motherfucker, my family trusted you.
Shut up!
Sir, about the briefcase. I want you to know my friend Harry and I have every intention of reimbursing you.
Andre looks alarmed. He motions Mary to the briefcase with his gun.
Open up the damn thing.
Mary opens the briefcase and a pile of white, crumpled up balls of paper fall out, along with a few packets of hundreds.
What the hell's this? Where's all the money?
That's as good as money, sir. Those are IOUs. You can add them up for yourself. Every penny's accounted for. 275,000. Might want to hold on to that one.
Andre looks like his head is about to burst in anger.
You're fucking dead.
Now don't you do anything hasty, man.
Cut to interior hotel hallway. Harry gets out of the elevator and lets himself into the presidential suite. Interior presidential suite. Harry enters looking contrite and calls out.
Lloyd, are you home? We've got to talk, man. I've got a serious confession to make.
Very contrite. Harry comes around the corner and stops cold. His POV, Lloyd and Mary are lying on the bed, their arms handcuffed to the bedpost.
Oh, good. You found her. I'll just leave you two kids alone.
Harry turns to go, but bumps into the muzzle of Andre's gun.
Why don't you stay and join the party?
Cut to into interior presidential suite a few moments later. Harry is sitting beside Lloyd and Mary on the bed. Nicholas keeps his gun trained on them while he speaks on the phone.
I want a one-way ticket to Rio de Janeiro, departing as soon as possible.
On the bed, Harry and Lloyd can't look at each other in the eye.
You mean you two know each other?
Yeah, we used to be best friends.
Until he turned into a backstabber.
Me, a backstabber? You got a lot of nerve. I saw her first.
Hey, I couldn't help it if she found me irresistible.
Mary rolls her eyes at this.
But you knew how crazy I was about her.
Yeah, and you knew how crazy I was about Freda Felter, but that didn't stop you, did it?
What are you talking about?
Don't deny it, Lloyd. Freda told me about the whole sordid story.
Lloyd can't muster a defense.
Look, I was going to tell you about that. It was going to be mentioned at the reading of my will. I swear. You can ask my lawyer.
Harry glares at him.
Well, I guess we both learned a little something about each other, didn't we?
You said it, pal. Maybe we're not as good as friends as we thought we were.
Guess not.
I mean, if one beautiful girl could rip us apart like this, then it seems our friendship isn't worth a damn. Maybe we should call it quits right here.
Just tell me where to sign, bud.
Suddenly they hear the metallic click-clack of a gun being cocked.
Okay, which one of you losers wants to die first?
The guys exchange a look and swallow hard.
I wouldn't pull that trigger if I were you.
Why not? It'll look like just another Aspen love triangle. You caught the two of them in bed, handcuffed them to the post, murdered them, and killed yourself.
Except you're forgetting one minor detail.
What's that?
Lloyd and Mary look at Harry, hopeful.
If you kill us, you'd be killing yourself.
Huh?
You see, philosophers believe that we're all really just tiny pieces of one huge universal being. In other words, I am you and you are me. So if you were to kill us, you'd be committing suicide.
Shut up! Shut up.
Mary sees that they're in deep shit now.
What about my husband? Did you kill him too?
Husband? What husband?
Mary's married, Harry.
No need to worry about Melvin.
Melvin.
Now, this is the last time I'll ask. Who wants to die first?
Harry gestures with his head at Mary.
Kill her. The bitch should have told him that sorry.
How dare you?
Kill her. The bitch should have told him she was married back at the airport. Would have saved us a lot of trouble.
Andre points the gun at Mary.
No, I'll go first, Harry. I was the one who got you into this mess.
Andre points the gun at Lloyd.
No, wait, do me first. I'm the one who stole your girl, Lloyd. I deserve it.
Andre sighs and points the gun at Harry. Then, as Mary and Lloyd look on in horror, he fires twice. Harry grabs his stomach and falls off the bed to the floor.
Jesus Christ! You killed my best friend, you bastard!
Andre smiles.
If it's any consolation, you're about to be reunited.
He aims his gun at Lloyd, cocks the trigger. Suddenly, a shot rings out, and the gun is blown out of Andre's hand. On the floor, Harry is very much alive and pointing a pistol at the stunned Nicholas Andre.
Harry, you're alive!
Just then, the door bursts open and several police officers storm in with their weapons drawn.
Get your hands up, asshole.
Lloyd and Harry throw their hands up into the air. A stunned Andre turns to see 6 guns pointed at his head. He reluctantly raises his hands. Mary and Lloyd are flabbergasted by the turn of events. There's a sudden commotion in the room. Pushing her way through the mass of cops comes the athletic beauty. She flashes an ID. Nice.
Special Officer Catherine Frick, Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Nice.
You gotta be kidding.
Good work, Harry.
Lloyd looks at his best friend confused. Harry opens his shirt, revealing a bulletproof vest.
She grabbed me down in the lobby and explained what was up. They slapped this on me and gave me a gun.
But how did you...
We've been following you two all the way from Providence. Mr. and Mrs. Swanson had a homing device planted in their briefcase.
The guys glance guiltily at one another.
Yeah, about that dough.
Every bill was counterfeit and marked.
Harry and Lloyd exhale a sigh of relief. Cut to exterior Hotel Danbury night. There's a swarm of onlookers as Andre and J.P. Shea are hustled into a police car and driven away while Mary talks to the police. Harry and Lloyd stare at her lovingly.
Something, ain't she, here?
You were right, Lloyd. She was definitely worth the trip.
Guess we have to admit it. She was too good for us.
Just then, a cruiser pulls up, and Mary's husband jumps out.
Oh, God, baby, I missed you.
That's crazy. Harry and Lloyd stare on in wonder as Mel Gibson climbs out of the car. I tell you, Mary and Mel embrace.
I didn't agree to marry him.
It's too late now.
Back in the day in the 90s, you would have loved it.
I wish
That's true. This was the 90s. Never mind. I'll take 90s Mel Gibson.
No
That's
one
cool.
cared about racism yet.
Post read discussion, we're like, which
This
part
is
ages
before
the
the
worst?
racism, yeah.
Yeah.
The rape
Anyway.
one. I think the
Yeah,
rape
definitely the rape.
Just the rape.
Just the whole rape. Harry and Lloyd stare in wonder as Mel Gibson jumps out of the car. Mary and Mel embrace. Then Mel turns to the guys.
Gotta act more Mel Gibson like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough, fellas.
Hell yeah.
It was so darn dank in that well. Really thought it would be the death of me.
Harry and Lloyd are too stunned to respond. They look at each other, and we dissolve to interior lobby Hotel Danbury. The next day, Harry and Lloyd come out of the elevator with their meager luggage, but this time, nobody rushes to their aid. Fake fans. Exterior Hotel Danbury day, the guys exit the hotel and approach the bell captain, Bernard.
Hey, Barney.
Yes, gentlemen.
Look, we just wanted to say that we appreciate all you did for us during our stay.
And we're, sorry about the money we gave you turning out to be phony.
Don't worry about it, gentlemen. The Swanson family has promised to reimburse everyone.
Nice. This seems to please Harry and Lloyd. The hearse is delivered to the front door.
Well, anyway, thanks again for everything.
They turn to go, but Bernard calls to them.
Where are you two headed?
I don't know. I'm sure we'll find a trailer camp somewhere to call home.
Why not right here?
Harry and Lloyd look at each other confused.
This joint is a little out of our budget, Barney.
Oh, I think we might be able to find you a free room somewhere. After all, like you once told me, we're all from the same mold. You just don't have any dough right now.
The guys are stunned at Bernard's generous offer.
Are you on the level?
Absolutely. We'll just slide you into one of the employee rooms.
The guys beam at this.
Provided, of course, you don't mind working 1 or 2 afternoons a week.
Harry and Lloyd lock eyes. Then,
You know what, Barney? I think we'll take our chances down the road.
Bernard shakes his head as the two fools climb into their hearse and drive off. Exterior highway day as the hearse drives down the road, we hear voiceover.
Since we're finished elbow rubbing, what next, Lloyd?
I say we head due south and try a little nose rubbing with some of them slinky Eskimo babes.
Fuck.
Now you're talking my language. You know I got a weakness for blondes.
What the fuck does that mean? As they head toward their next adventure, the camera pulls up. End credits.
You didn't say the end.
The end. I didn't want it to be over. I didn't want it to be over.
Okay, Augie, you have to actually go watch the real movie now.
No.
Yeah, how have you not seen
Need a
this?
narrator
Fucking
on
You
spoilers,
need
dude.
to watch
It's
it.
been spoiled. I'm not gonna
Put this
watch this
video
shit.
on while you watch it. It'll sync up perfectly. I promise.
I don't know what you're talking about,
Also,
dude.
literally,
Other than the mime.
And there were a lot of changes as well. So there'll be lots of surprises.
I
for
think
you.
the character of Helen will be very different than